disaster sank the U.S. deeper into the Great Depression.
Now, car prices are expected to go up as part of these tariffs. One local auto dealer says he's both concerned and cautiously optimistic about the result.
It's tough because things are already expensive.
Ulrich auto owner Joshua Ulrich says the 25% tariffs may make it pricier for him to buy vehicles and the parts he needs to recondition them before selling.
And so we have to now worry about what these tariffs may do. We don't know just yet, but if they make car prices go up and parts go up, we essentially will have to go up as well.
Yet Ulrich tells me he understands both sides. He's hopeful this tariff tango pays off.
The immediate changes are going to be expensive for people, but the long-term changes, I think, is going to allow a lot more jobs to be here.
In East Atlanta, Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
The Rose Garden announcement set for 4 o'clock this afternoon. It is 65 degrees in Midtown Atlanta. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards says should see more sunshine later today around Metro Atlanta. Possibly a stray pop-up shower, though the high will get into the low 80s. Could hit 90 later on this week. Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast is coming up. Meanwhile, it now appears there were at least 3 different tornadoes to touch down during Monday's storms around Metro Atlanta. That's according to damage surveyors.
An EF0 tornado in Fayette County is the latest confirmed twister. It's 70-mile-an-hour winds bringing down trees but not damaging any structures in its quarter-mile path. Earlier confirmed tornadoes in Coweta and Henry County had wind speeds exceeding 75 miles an hour, also bringing down trees and causing some property damage.
WSB's Graham Carroll reports there were no significant injuries in any of those storms. We're learning more information this morning about a shooting involving teenagers at an apartment complex in Conyers. Conyers Police Captain Quantavis Garcia says it happened at the Keswick Village Apartments.
An altercation had occurred between a group of juveniles in the parking lot of the apartments. One of the witnesses was able to provide a description and an area where the suspect ran.
He says a teen who was shot was taken to the hospital in stable condition. The shooter, believed to be a teen as well. That suspect, though, escaped following a SWAT standoff. The search continues this morning. Watching today's vote under the Gold Dome on a bill that would expand who is qualified to receive a guardianship. In Georgia, guardianship essentially strips a person's power over decisions in their life, while the measure would add others to qualified list, including marriage counselors. Advocates like Darcy Robb of the Georgia Council on Developmental Disabilities insist it may not be a great idea.
We need to make sure that the right professionals are making these incredibly powerful decisions that completely alter people's lives.
The bill's supporters say the change is necessary to help courts address a backlog of guardianship requests. Overnight support rolling in for the actor known for hit roles, including Iceman and Top Gun, Jim Morrison in The Doors, and Doc Holliday in Tombstone.
I'm your huckleberry. Why, Johnny Ringo, you look like somebody just walked over your grave.
Actor Val Kilmer has died at the age of 65. It comes more than a decade after he was diagnosed with throat cancer. That required a pair of tracheotomies that took his voice. Fellow actor Josh Brolin calls Kilmer an uber-creative firecracker. The Top Gun social media page this morning simply saying, R.I.P. Iceman. It's 9:03. Mark Arum Show begins in less than 2 minutes. But first, live team coverage of traffic and weather. Start on the roads now. Triple Team Traffic and Smiling Mark McKay.
Morning long. Tractor-trailer crash cleanup at Judd continues into Cobb County. I-20 westbound at the 285 northbound ramp, exit 67. They're shutting down that ramp off and on. Those westbound delays back toward Evans Mill Road, eastbound slowing out through Wesley Chapel and Panola as road work sets up. 85 still difficult out of Duluth and Norcross, especially around Pleasant Hill Road. Inside the perimeter, below North Druid Hills. Cleaned up I-75 for the most part now into and out of Ackworth. Express lanes a little crowded, though. 75 south leaving Kennesaw. Ashley Frasca, 400.
Call it a sluggish ride now from Alpharetta. 400 southbound roughly between Haynesbridge and Northridge. Bigger backups, though, on Holcomb Bridge in both directions. Looks like there's a crash at Old Alabama Road just east of 400. Triple Team Traffic, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly to mostly cloudy today with an isolated rain shower possible, a high 83, lows tonight in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds, high 86. Feeling like summertime on Friday with highs in the upper 80s to low 90s.
64 degrees right now in Dallas, Georgia, 62 in Loganville, 65 in Midtown Atlanta at 9:05. More news at 9:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Jed Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
Hey, good morning, friends. Mark Arum and crew for the next 3 hours. A lot of information. By the way, happy Liberation Day to all who celebrate. That is the big headline today. 4 p.m. in the historic Rose Garden. President Trump's going to unveil his latest big tariff plans. He is dubbing it Liberation Day. Sources say the president worked late into the night to get perfect tariffs. We really have no idea what he is planning. Perhaps it's 15 countries that we have significant trade deficits with. Could this be a global tariff system? We are not really sure. We're going to preview that. We're going to go to the White House in just a little bit. But again, that announcement, it was scheduled at 3 p.m. today, but they pushed it back to 4 p.m. Some skeptics say because they wanted to do the tariff announcement, the Liberation Day announcement, closer to the market's close, so there couldn't be immediate bad reaction in the markets. But again, I have no idea. Most folks don't have any clue what President Trump's going to announce today. Again, he is dubbing it Liberation Day, 4 p.m. in the Rose Garden. We'll preview it here on the show, and obviously we'll carry it live at 4 p.m. On 95.5 WSB. Really big show for you today. Kim Comando's going to join us live on tax season. She's got a bunch of new tax scams that we need to avoid. We had a bunch of special elections yesterday, 2 in Florida. We talked a lot about those, and the Wisconsin Superior Court election. We're going to talk to a correspondent covering and recapping what happened the elections yesterday. Spoiler alert, I told you who was going to win in Florida. I'll give you the Republicans held onto the seats in Florida, as I told you yesterday on the show that they would. This is counterintuitive to the tariff news. Huge first quarter automotive sales reported by Detroit, Michigan, and car makers. David Wells from Bloomberg News is going to join us with that. But I want to start off. This one hit hard. I knew he wasn't long for this earth, but in case you're just joining us, legendary actor Val Kilmer passed away at the age of 65. You heard Judd mention in the news he had throat cancer, 2 tracheotomies. I knew he wasn't long for the earth, but such an important influence in my life, believe it or not. And I'm not talking about Maverick. I understand that's the headline. Oh, Maverick, Iceman, Top Gun. He was fine in that. But for me, there were 2 movies that really stood out in Val Kilmer's career.
Because if I wear it anywhere else, it changes.
Whoa, easy, kid. The first one was, of course, Tombstone.
I'm your huckleberry.
I mean, could he steal a movie?
Just my game.
Unlike any other actor in our generation, Tombstone was was up there. But number 1 for me was the movie Real Genius. Judd, you back me up on this.
Yes.
So Real Genius came out in 1985. It was his second movie. And to me, it was, so I was 12 when it came out. I was 12 years old. And I was a smart nerd in school, picked on. And the movie Real Genius was set on a college campus. It's all about smart people. And his character in Real Genius made it seem you could be smart and cool at the same time.
Yep.
And I remember watching that movie going, I'm smart, but, I thought I was smart. At 12, I thought I was a genius. But I saw it. I was like, you don't have to be a nerd and be smart. You could be super cool. His character was super cool. So that movie came out in 1985. The nerd movie was Revenge of the Nerds in 1984, and it was a funny movie and a good movie. But you didn't watch Revenge of the Nerds and go, oh, they're cool.
Right.
You had Booger and, Lamont, and it was a fun movie, but it didn't make nerds cool.
That one did, though. He was deadpan, and he was just snarky, and it was just a great movie.
Such a great movie.
And he steals that one, too. He's obviously
exactly.
The main guy.
He was just a remarkable actor. Anyway, I'm going to spend way too much time on Val Kilmer later on the show, but Real Genius and Tombstone, for me, the 2 iconic roles. He made being a nerd cool. I'm going to go on a limb and say Peter Haralambous, much like me at 12 years old, was considered a nerd. He joins us live on the Mark Arum Show. How are you, Peter?
Hey, Mark. Good guess. I think you're on point with that one.
Yeah. So you're younger than me. Did you ever see Real Genius with Val Kilmer, the 85 film?
No, actually. I hate to say it. I've seen Top Gun, of course. That's my only real, and I've heard great things about The Doors. But
The Doors, too, yeah. All right, I'm giving you homework. Real Genius. Stream it wherever you can find it, and I'll quiz you later in the week.
Will do.
All right. But for now, though, Peter joins us. We haven't talked about this story in quite a bit. The Luigi Mangione story. Obviously, he has been accused of and arrested for the December murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. The Mangione case popped in the news yesterday. Attorney General Pam Bondi said what yesterday, Peter?
Yeah, so Attorney General Pam Bondi is now directing the Department of Justice to pursue the death penalty against Luigi Mangione in that federal case. In a statement put out yesterday, she called Mangione's alleged actions premeditated, cold-blooded assassination. This would be the first death penalty case pursued by this Trump administration. During his first term, we saw 13 different federal inmates put to death under the death penalty. That's the first time we really saw that after pretty much a 17-year pause in federal death penalty cases.
So the AG directed federal prosecutors to seek the death penalty. Did she speak on this? Was this a written statement? Do we get any further explanation why she wants the death penalty here?
We didn't get much. It was just a written statement. It didn't really go into that much detail other than saying that this was a pretty brazen, politically motivated action that Mangione allegedly laid out in detail and in evidence that they have. Though it's going to be a tricky case. I mean, these federal death penalty cases proceed in two different phases. There's one phase devoted to whether or not the person who's alleged to have committed the crimes is guilty, and the second phase about whether or not the death penalty is warranted. I'll say the last time we had a death penalty case here in New York, this was the man accused of killing 8 people when he took a rental truck up the West Side Highway.
Oh, yeah.
The jury was able to convict him there, but not even in that instance with, a brazen, act of terrorism did that jury feel like the death penalty was appropriate. So it's kind of hard to see how a jury would be unanimous in the Mangione example, especially given how much public support we've seen for him.
Yeah, it's such a crazy case. Peter Haralambous from ABC News joining us live on the Mark Arum Show. So Mangione has pleaded not guilty to state charges, but hasn't entered a plea to the federal charges yet, due in court on April 18th. The threat of the death penalty, could that inspire his attorneys to say, hey, take a deal, you don't want to be convicted of the death penalty, or do you think this is going to trial no matter what?
I kind of struggle to see a world in which they actually reach a deal here. I think you're completely on point in terms of the incentives for his lawyers. I think, though, we've seen a pretty hard line taken by the Department of Justice. For example, we saw in a similar, unrelated case that the DOJ Attorney General Pam Bondi put out a statement on about those Tesla acts of terrorism, allegedly. In that instance, the DOJ was completely unwilling to negotiate. Basically, they were going for 20 years or nothing for that individual. And so I kind of struggle to see them actually taking a very flexible stance with Mangione, especially given the stakes and how high profile this has gotten. If anything, I think Mangione's lawyers are keenly aware of the amount of public support that their client has and might see this as an opportunity to be successful in a federal court setting where, if you look at a jury of 12 average New Yorkers, what are the likelihood that at least one of them have strong thoughts about the healthcare industry? To what extent will Mangione's charm or the fact that there's just so much public support for him sway that jury? And will they really feel comfortable sending a young man to death?
Yeah, it's so bizarre the amount of support he got after, again, accused of, we saw the video, we don't know if it's him, innocent until proven guilty, but the assassination of that healthcare CEO and the public support for him has been phenomenal. So reading between the lines, Peter, you don't think Miss Bondi is going to put that on the table, any sort of a federal plea deal on the table? She's taking this to trial no matter what.
I think that's the direction we're heading here, and I think it might come rather quickly. At first, there was going to be 2 parallel cases with the state and federal cases going around the same time as each other. I could see a world also in which the federal case takes the front seat here, and we potentially see a trial happening later this year.
Final question for you. There's been, has Mangione been getting special treatment at all? I saw that he has now access to a laptop. How did that happen?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a bit of a push and pull here in terms of how Mangione's been treated. For what it's worth, he's being held at one of the most notorious federal facilities, especially here in New York. He's been in the same facility for a while as Sam Bankman-Fried, as Diddy. Though, yes, he's been able to get a few of these privileges. He has access to a computer to review some of the evidence in this case. He is a young guy. He's a smart guy. He seems to be involved in his own defense in a way. And he has been receiving a lot of fan mail to the point in which he's actually started asking his fans to limit the number of photos they send him per mailing. And we understand he's been receiving hundreds, if not thousands, of articles of fan mail, photos from his fans. He's certainly cultivated a fan base of young females in particular.
Yeah, I've never, ever seen anything like this. All right, Peter Haralambous, as always, appreciate your time and your insight. Real genius. Homework assignment. You need to watch the movie before we get you back on the show.
We'll talk about it next time.
All right, there you go. Peter Haralambous, ABC. That's just insane to me. So Pam Bondi says, hey, we're going for the death penalty on Mangione. Peter brought up a couple of good points. There's a lot of sympathy for him for whatever reason. A lot of folks that don't like the current healthcare system. Can you get every juror to say guilty on these assassination charges? We shall see. All right, again, big story today, Liberation Day. President Trump announcing his tariff plans, the Rose Garden, 4 p.m. Let's go to the White House, get the latest from Elena Treen.
Well, look, we know that yesterday the president spent much of that day with his top policy advisors, really huddled with them, working out and perfecting, as the White House called it, the final announcement for these tariffs. Now, you noted that it's going to be in the Rose Garden, that it's going to come with the kind of pomp and circumstance we know that the president really wants this event to have. It's notable that this is the first Rose Garden event that he is doing. That is, of course, by design, as is some of the questions around what this is actually going to look like. Part of it is, again, they were working up until the 11th hour, and also the president was continuing to receive pitches, I was told, up until the 11th hour, really on this plan. But then also they want it to be kind of veiled in secrecy until he makes that announcement. Now, one other thing about that Rose Garden ceremony today is that it was actually previously scheduled to be around 3 p.m. The White House had pushed it back to 4 p.m. That's a notable change because that means it is now going to be made when the markets are closed. So one thing to, keep in mind there. But look, the thing with these tariffs is there's a couple things that I've heard floated from different Trump administration officials. One is, could it be on individual countries? Could it be a universal across the board tariff? We've heard even as high as 20%. I mean, what we are going to learn today could really, Kate, reshape not only the U.S. economy, but global economies. Now, one of the key criticisms I've heard, and really what the White House has struggled to articulate when it comes to these tariffs, is what is the end game? What is the big, policy strategy that the president is looking at? We've heard this now from people on Capitol Hill, Republicans and Democrats alike, economists, financial experts, trading partners, of course, really trying to figure out what the long-term strategy here is. And we heard really the White House, again, kind of struggle to answer that, what they've said, and we heard White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt go through this yesterday, is point to his past term, his first administration, and said you should trust him. That is the justification for this, but not really giving a lot of the clarity that I think a lot of people are looking for as we continue to see a lot of this uncertainty. All to say, we're going to see this announcement later today. We'll see how the president moves forward. One thing as well to keep in mind is he wants to move forward with these and put these into effect, but he has left the door open, as have other White House officials, to potentially renegotiating them down the line. So again, we'll see what this announcement is, but it may not actually hold moving forward.
That's Elena Treen at the White House. Again, Liberation Day is what President Trump's calling it. 4 p.m. announcement at the Rose Garden. When we come back, what I want to hear from President Trump and his administration at the Rose Garden today at 4 p.m. Right now, though, you want to know and you want to hear how the traffic's going. Live with the latest, Mike Shields.
At 75, improving at Ackworth, a long-standing tractor-trailer crash, which is cleared on 75 northbound at Allatoona Gateway, but sluggish in both directions getting past Highway 92. Also sluggish in DeKalb County with right lane roadwork setting up I-20 eastbound past Wesley Chapel Road. The support is brought by Zinshi Handcrafted Sushi. Craving something fresh and flavorful? Discover Zinshi Handcrafted Sushi. High quality, affordable, and made fresh daily. Find Zinshi Sushi today at your local Publix markets right by the seafood counter. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
When the weather is at its worst,
it is moving northeast at 55 miles per hour.
We're at our best.
Raining very heavily. Been seeing the traffic lights glowing like I've never seen before.
Download the WSB radio app to stay up to date.
These tornadoes can form for no more than 10 minutes. 10 minutes is not a long time, but it could be just enough time to cause damage.
95.5 WSB, your severe weather station.
Hey, it's Scott Slade for FGA Roofing. If your home's exterior could use an updated look, or maybe one of your neighbor's designer roofs has caught your eye, and your current roof has started to show its age, then now's the perfect time to check out FGA Roofing for the latest in architectural shingles, timberland shingles, and more. Slate, tile, wood shake, cedar roofs, FGA has them all. FGA Roofing offers 0% financing for 12 months with your good credit. Get the roof you want now and pay over time. Click firstgaroof.com. That's firstgaroof.com.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place. You know, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in will work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
I'm consumer investigator Dale Cardwell, and for over a decade, I've trusted America's best choice for windows, doors, siding, and decks.
Spring is the perfect time to update your home, and America's Best Choice makes it easy with these spring specials. Highest quality, energy-efficient windows starting at just $299. Take 10% off a new deck and create the outdoor oasis of your dreams. No pressure, no gimmicks. Visit abcwin.com today to schedule your free consultation.
Attention men, are you suffering from ED or PE? Here's an important message from Choice Men's Health.
I'm Dr. Katz, and I'm the Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Are you performing the way you want to in the bedroom? If the answer is no, and you've tried Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra and were disappointed, then you need to come see us immediately. If you don't see results on the first visit, then there's no charge. Many of our patients have medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and prostate problems. I'm happy to say that we have 98% success rate with all our patients. Our customized solutions will allow you to perform within 10 minutes and last an hour and even longer. You can regain your love life and tackle your ED and PE problems. Guys, your partner will never complain again. Our clinic has the most affordable prices, so if you visit other clinics and you're not completely satisfied, then you need to call Choice Men's Health.
Regain your love life regardless of your age or medical history. Choice Men's Health guarantees results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call now, 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
Our weather can be crazy. Dry for days and drenched with storms, extreme heat to bitter cold, and your roof takes all the abuse. Dave Baker for Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. If your roof has problems, it may be showing you signs. Inside, look for wet spots on the ceiling or walls. Outside, check for streaks and stains or granules in the ground. If you find these, think of Findlay first. The perfect match for any roofing issues, and they offer 0% financing. Schedule your free roof analysis at findlayroofing.com. Roof.
9:24 on the Mark Arum Show. I made an executive decision without consulting executive producer Deborah Green. Since Val Kilmer played Jim Morrison in the movie Doors, I want all Doors music today, Longoria. Sorry to give you extra work. Speaking of the movie Doors, Deborah, I know you're not as big a Doors fan as I am, but what did you think of the movie and Val Kilmer's performance?
So I was not allowed to watch that movie when it came out because I was still too young, and my mom was kind of
not the biggest Jim Morrison fan. It was a little
Okay.
bit too much for her. So when I finally did see it, though, and I knew more about the band, I mean, that role kind of made Val Kilmer's career. Like, he'd already done some other stuff, but putting him in that role showed his diversity. I mean, he kind of became Jim Morrison for that short period of time. I thought he did an excellent job.
Yeah, I really like that movie. And I was a fan of the Doors music growing up before that movie came out. To this day, that's my favorite road trip music. You just put on the Doors and you just drive where you're going to go. But I thought he crushed it in that movie. I was such a big Val Kilmer fan. Rest in peace. I'm going to talk a lot more about the performances that Mr. Kilmer provided us over the years throughout the show. I do want to talk about, all right, Liberation Day, Rose Garden, 4 p.m., yada, yada, yada. We're going to carry it live on WSB. What is President Trump going to say about these new tariffs that he is going to propose today? Again, I don't know what he's going to say. I have a hint, and I think he's going to target 15 countries. I think they call them the Dirty 15. That's not me calling them. That's people in D.C. calling them. And those are the 15 countries with which the United States either has massive trade deficits with or have tariffs provided against. That's what people kind of think, but again, we don't know. Here's what I do want to see. Now, President Trump, listen, if he came out and was going to develop breaking news on real estate development, like here's the new guidelines on real estate developments and like that's his area of expertise. That's what he's known his whole life. Real estate development. To me, he's an expert on that. As much as you might love him as a president, as a man, etc., he is not a global tariff financial expert. So whatever happens today at the Rose Garden, I want him to be up there with an inner circle of economists, of global finance people that know exactly what these tariffs can do and why they are beneficial. Because most of the experts we hear from on these tariffs are, this could be really, really bad for us. So I want him to get out there and not just him say it. I want to hear his advisors, his inner circle, the experts when it comes to tariffs and global finance and the economy. Like, I want the best economists out there, right? He only hires the best people. I want to hear from out of the mouths of the best economists that this is the proper route for the United States to take on this Liberation Day. We'll see what happens. I don't know if he's going to be there by himself. He's going to have experts. If he's going to have Peter Navarro, Vice President Vance, who knows who he'll have up there. But it's Liberation Day, Rose Garden, 4 p.m. You will hear it live right here on 95.5 WSB. All right, quick break after news and traffic. Some major special elections yesterday, 2 in Florida and 1 in Wisconsin. We'll get a recap on what happened at the polls yesterday. That's next on The Mark Arum Show.
The wreck was bad, but dealing with insurance can be even worse. Hey, it's Smiling Mark McKay for John Foy & Associates, the strong arm. When it comes to traffic accidents, I've seen it all, and nothing surprises me. But when it comes to how insurance companies treat accident victims, I'm shocked. If you've been injured, don't try to take on the insurance companies alone. You need an experienced, winning team. You need the strong arm to fight for you. Pay nothing up front and get your free case evaluation at johnfoy.com.
It's what welcomes people to your home, and first impressions are everything. Your front door. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage and Entry Doors. We're the experts for every opening in your home. Not only your garage door, but your windows and your front door too. Replace your dated single front door with a gorgeous double door. No matter the size of your entrance, we can customize and install the double doors of your dreams. Make your front door grand. Get started at all4seasonsgarages.com.
Not only am I super excited that it's baseball season, but it's also streaming season, the best of both worlds through Xfinity. Hey, it's Mark Arum back from my pals at Xfinity. When baseball returns, so does the Xfinity Sports app. I can get insight analysis, stats, whatever, whenever I'm watching my favorite ball team. And it's streaming season. Yeah, our favorite shows are back across all of the streaming platforms. And the best part about Xfinity, you can get access to all of your favorite streaming apps, whether it's Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, Paramount Plus, you name it, Xfinity Xfinity has got it. So if you are a ball fan like me and a streaming fan like me, there's no better way to enjoy your game watching and your streaming shows than with Xfinity. And with Xfinity's extremely strong Wi-Fi, you can watch the games or the streaming shows all over the house. Find out the latest and the very best at Xfinity.com. Call 1-800-XFINITY or visit your local Xfinity store today.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News, weather,
Traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 9:30. I'm Judd Hickenbotham. Our top story this half hour, it's dubbed Liberation Day, and it could be a very pivotal day for the U.S. economy as President Trump set to announce today major new tariffs on products coming in from other countries, including main trading partners with the U.S. Money Watch correspondent Kelly O'Grady looks at how businesses are reacting.
It's creating paralysis for many companies that are trying to plan their next move. Now, in addition to increased costs, companies could face supply chain disruptions and retaliation from other countries.
She says many economists worry about the lack of details so far about these tariffs. The White House insisting the president is open to phone calls, though, from foreign leaders to work out any trade deals. Today's announcement expected at about 4 this afternoon. And as the bell rings this morning on Wall Street, as you would expect, stocks are well down here for your Wednesday. The Dow is down almost 1%. S&P is down about 1% overall. NASDAQ down about 1.5%. Those are numbers we will watch through the day leading up to this announcement this afternoon on those tariffs. It is 66 degrees in Midtown Atlanta. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards says should see plenty of sunshine later on today. The high topping 80 degrees. Only dip back into the 60s tonight. Could hit 90 later this week. Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast is coming up. The search continues this morning for a man accused of harassing Muslim women in Alpharetta.
The Georgia chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations is asking the Alpharetta Police Department to investigate an incident of harassment caught on video and posted on social media.
Sitting here, we were quiet, we were peaceful.
According to the complaint, some young women were praying in a car in the parking lot of the Avalon Shopping Center Monday afternoon when the man approaches and begins yelling and swearing at them. In addition to asking for an investigation, CARE Georgia is also issuing a warning to Georgia Muslims to remain vigilant at all times. Michelle Wright, 95.5 WSB.
Well, Fortune is out with its list of the best companies to work for in 2025.
At the top of the list, Hilton, followed by Synchrony, Cisco, and American Express. Fortune executive editor Ashley Lutz says the top 100 best companies are more profitable and productive because they've created consistently positive work experiences, resulting in lower burnout.
Now, Delta Airlines, the highest-ranking Atlanta-based company on the list, it ranks 15th. Reporter Michael Wallace notes almost every company on the list offers some type of hybrid or remote work option. While accepting responsibility in a class action settlement, Atlanta-based Norfolk Southern insists others are also to blame for that toxic train derailment 2 years ago in Ohio.
The company's attorney told an Ohio jury 2 other companies were also negligent and should contribute to the settlement amount. Attorneys for the 2 other companies, GATX and Oxy Vinyls, said Norfolk Southern had nobody to blame but itself.
Yeah, Bloomberg's Gina Cervetti says the derailment and chemical leak in East Palestine led to public outrage and long-term concerns over illness in the community. And even as we await new tariffs today that could threaten to raise car prices, the Tesla Model Y is named the most American car by Cars.com. The 3rd straight year, the Model Y has topped the annual list, given to the vehicle with the most parts made in the U.S. Model Y assembled in Fremont, California, and Austin, Texas. The Honda Passport is named as the 2nd most American vehicle. It's assembled near Birmingham. It's 9:33. Now live team coverage of traffic and weather. Start the WSB 24-hour traffic center and Mike Shields.
Roadwork set up, Judd, out of Buckhead into northeast Atlanta on Georgia 400 southbound, ramping onto 85 southbound, left lane of the ramp blocked once again today. Looking for new trouble on 400 northbound north of Abernathy Road. Seeing delays quickly starting to form as you make your way through Sandy Springs, and delays in Roswell with a crash working on Holcomb Bridge Road westbound, especially at Old Alabama Road. You can use Mansell Road as an alternate. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly to mostly cloudy today with an isolated pop-up shower possible, high 83. Lows tonight in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, high 86. Heating up on Friday to the upper 80s to low 90s.
66 degrees right now in Noonan, 62 in Cummings, 66 in Midtown Atlanta at 9:34. More news at 10. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Judd Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
When the news matters to you.
Massive project at 285 and Georgia 400 has been a big improvement.
95.5 WSB has you covered.
The latest incident comes when a SWAT team is called after a suspect.
Your 24/7 news
They
source.
had no ties to a gang.
When you need the story, all you need to do is listen. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's breaking news station.
We're hearing from foreign leaders around the world what is happening to your country, what is happening to the rule
Democratic
of law.
Senator Jackie Rosen from Nevada is dubious about Liberation Day. Still to come, we'll update the Liberation Day speech we expect from President Trump. But next, special election Florida yesterday. What happened? We'll tell you next on the Mark Arum Show.
Hey, it's Scott Slade from iRoofer, FGA Roofing. If your home's exterior could use an updated look, or maybe one of your neighbor's designer roofs has caught your eye, search FGA Roofing for the latest in designer architectural shingles. Ask about 0% financing. That's FGA Roofing.
At Coosa Valley Credit Union, we believe in kinder banking. That means speaking to a real person, a state-of-the-art website and mobile app, and kinder banking means offering our members the most competitive rates in the market. This is Andy Harris. Come see us at Coosa Valley Credit Union.
Hey, Mark Arum here for my bug and critter company, Breda Pest Management. I can't tell you how much I love these folks. Protecting the Arum household inside and out, friendly customer service. They get the job done right, and it's guaranteed. Pests, not a problem at the Arum household anymore because Breda is better at beating bugs. Just ask my wife. And you know what? They do it right, protecting the outside and inside of your home. If your current company, by the way, claims to protect your home from pests, shouldn't that include your actual home and not just your yard? It's the bugs inside your house that you want gone. And inside your home is where your current company doesn't go anymore. So if your pest control company is doing less and charging more, you need Breda Pest Management to protect the outside and inside of your home. Breda, they handle bugs and critters.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
We've lowered prices. You can save 15% or more on hundreds of items like Thomas Mini Bagels, Campbell's SpaghettiOs, and more. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
I'm a spy.
9:37 on this kind of sad Wednesday. Welcome back to the Mark Arum Show. Rest in peace, Val Kilmer played iconic Jim Morrison in the Doors movie. So we're going to play all Doors today. Deborah, I'm sorry to keep bugging you, but you're our official musical correspondent. Morrison didn't sing the songs on the Doors soundtrack, right? That was classic Morrison.
You mean Val Kilmer?
Val Kilmer, yes, I'm sorry. They were
they used Doors music. I don't know that Val Kilmer went through a lot of, he went through coaching to sing because he's talked about this in interviews, but I don't think he ever really quite got the voice down. He could get everything else, the moves and everything.
He
but
looked
couldn't
just
get
like
the
him,
voice.
too. Yeah, it was amazing. All right, anyway, rest in peace, Val Kilmer. Big story yesterday, obviously, were the special elections in Florida and Wisconsin. Joining us, our good buddy Rory O'Neill. Rory, good morning, my friend. All right, so what happened in those special elections in Florida and Wisconsin, and what are the main takeaways from the results?
Well, let's start in Florida. There were 2 empty House seats for 2 Republicans who quit their jobs in order to join the Trump administration. One of them, Matt Gaetz from the Florida Panhandle, didn't quite make it to become the next U.S. Attorney General. So the race for his seat was won by a man named Jimmy Patronis, the former chief financial officer of Florida. So he sort of cruised to victory there, but that margin of victory was a little bit more narrow. But the one people were really watching was in District 6. That's from St. Augustine to Daytona Beach, and it runs a bit inland from there as well. That was the seat given up by Mike Waltz to become the NSA. Now, Randy Fine, a Republican state senator, won that seat, but the margin of error was pretty narrow, just more than a dozen points or so. Waltz won that same seat by more than 30 points just back in November. President Trump carried that same district by more than 30 points. So Democrats, I think they were hoping they'd get within single digits, but so it was still a bit of a blowout, but not really the giant giant victory that the Republicans depended on.
Yeah, I mean, 12 points is still a big victory, but it pales in comparison to what Trump won that district in the presidential election and what Walz won. So, I mean, both sides could see some positive signs from those results, I guess.
Right. And now we're getting into the nerd aspect of this. Like, how much do you really want to read into it? Because it's an off election. How many people go for one race on a ballot? Not that many. So it really is just diehards. They were very expensive elections, bombarding our TVs with the ads constantly, but not sure there was giant turnout for this. In both the races, Districts 1 and 6, about 200,000 people showed up for each race. So it wasn't a huge turnout. So I don't want to read too much into it because it is this off election.
Yeah, bottom line is, though, Speaker Mike Johnson, President Trump get those to hold those 2 Republican seats in Florida to keep their slim majority in the House. Wisconsin Supreme Court vote election. Why was that important, and who was the victor?
Yeah, that was a $100 million race for the Wisconsin State Supreme Court. I mean, pretty amazing that it came down to that. But the liberal justice, now this is nonpartisan, so you do liberal and conservative, and the liberal won the race despite some big outside money coming in. I think Elon Musk spent $26 million on the race, including that giveaway that we saw this weekend of 2 $1 million checks. He went to Green Bay, Wisconsin, wore a cheese hat, saying that this was the election to decide the fate of humanity. I mean, that's how much pressure Musk was putting on voters to turn out. And here we have the liberal candidate, Susan Crawford. She won by 10 points, which, to your point, I mean, that's not a blowout, but boy, that's a strong victory. Some are now wondering if Musk actually did more to hurt the race because the liberals really made this a race about Elon Musk. And with Musk's popularity falling, with his association with Doge, maybe it was a smart political play here.
Why the national attention on this Supreme Court vote, though? I don't understand the national implications, why this was so important to both sides of the aisle.
Well, because one of the big issues that this court will decide is how are the congressional maps drawn in Wisconsin. So now the court will stay liberal. The concern is that there will be more districts drawn to favor Democratic candidates, 2 or 3 perhaps, which is just about the margin that Republicans have in control in the U.S. House of Representatives. So the conservatives fear that by having liberal justices in charge, they'll draw maps that will help Democratic candidates, which could then lead them to lose control of the House. That's one of the big issues. And also interesting to note, the voters in Wisconsin also approved a requirement that you show up with an approved ID in order to cast your votes. So you saw about 200,000 of those Wisconsin voters vote for voter ID and for the liberal candidate for the court.
Rory, great recap on yesterday's important elections. As always, buddy, we appreciate your time.
Hey, thanks, Mark.
There you go, Special. I rarely get things right, so I'm going to pat myself on the back. I knew the Republicans would hold those 2 seats. I didn't know enough about the Wisconsin Supreme Court race to give you a prediction, but the fact that so much money, $90 million. $90 million, and that's Wisconsin. Deborah, I mean, growing up in Wisconsin, did you ever even think twice about the Supreme Court of Wisconsin? Was that even part of your thought process?
Not really. I mean, Madison is right there, too, but we didn't think too much about that. And $90 million isn't even a number that we would think of.
Yeah, I mean, and it's Wisconsin, Kevin. I mean, it's Wisconsin. But I guess, the gerrymandering, the redistricting, and, could there be more seats that could swing to the Democrats in the midterms? That was why so much money was spent, so much attention was spent in there. So the Democrat wins big there. The Republicans win big in Florida. I'm going to take it away as a victory for President Trump, Speaker Mike Johnson, with that narrow majority in the House. They hold on to those 2 seats, the Gates seats and the Walz seats. So we'll certainly keep you up to date on that. All right, while we have you, Deborah, what's the latest on the TikTok ban? That's a story that's starting to bubble up again.
The TikTok ban is looming again, but President Trump says there's going to be a deal before the deadline of Saturday. Now, the president has until April 5th to find an acceptable buyer for TikTok after issuing an executive order delaying enforcement of a federal law that banned the app unless ByteDance divested. Congress imposed the ban over fears that TikTok is a national security risk. Now, Vice President Vance is said to be working on negotiations with other companies, but the Trump administration says it's going to extend that deadline if needed and announce a 30-day grace period to finalize details. And you can follow us on TikTok. We are at WSB Radio.
I love Deborah plugging and at the Mark Arum Show, but Deborah, you haven't posted anything on that, right? You don't even have access.
I don't know how to get into it. I don't have
neither.
your passwords.
You know what we should do? We should have you have intern Stefan's number. Get in touch with him, get our login, and we'll give it to Vinny Bag of Donuts. And then, Vinny, are you okay taking over our TikTok account? You can't use it as a dating app. You can't, but you can post. Will you be able to post videos?
Yeah,
on
I'm
that?
good.
All right. So you know what? Let me go in depth on that TikTok story because the last I heard, they were looking for a U.S.-based company to take all of the data. Instead of sending the data to communist China, they'd find a U.S. company to send the data to. Claire Duffy is a CNN expert when it comes to all things tech. Claire, what can you tell us?
Yeah, so both President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance have said there is likely to be a deal by this Saturday deadline, but we don't know if that is going to be a signed, sealed, and delivered deal or if that's going to be the outlines of a deal they hope to be making. We also know that despite the fact that the deadline is days away and they say there is going to be a deal, both ByteDance and the Chinese government have given no public indication that they are playing ball here. And Trump in recent days has suggested that he is trying to sweeten the deal by potentially offering a reduction in tariffs on Chinese imports in exchange for a TikTok sale deal. This is what he said on this yesterday.
1 point in tariffs with China, a big country, would be probably worth more than all of TikTok, as valuable as TikTok is. It's big stuff. So there's a great example. That's a great question, actually. I'm a very flexible person. I could use that for that. Like, maybe I'll take a couple of points off if I get approvals for something. I haven't done it. Maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't. But it's a very good question.
But look, I think you have to wonder if Trump is looking for leverage still just days away from the deadline. Does that raise questions about how close they really are to a deal?
What fascinates me about this TikTok story, you go back, I don't know, Deborah, 5 months, 6 months, and this TikTok was the story, right? Congress was talking about it. The presidential candidates were talking about it. Get TikTok out of here. But I mean, it was such a huge story. Fast forward to April 2nd, 2025. And to me, and I might be wrong on this isn't even in the top 100 of important stories,
Not
right?
at all.
It's not.
Not at all.
I mean, 6 months ago, it was like TikTok, blah, blah. And now I'm like, oh, whatever. Who cares? There's so much more important stuff going on than the TikTok ban. And I don't say that to belittle TikTok users, whether you're a 15-year-old girl or you're a small business. I understand it's an important app and everyone uses it and they love it. I get that it is important to you. But in the great scope of things, it's not even in the top 100 stories that I care about, that I think are important. Right now, the economy, number one. The Ukraine-Russia war, the Israel-Hamas war, tariffs, these are so much more important stories than the TikTok ban. And I get it impacts a lot of people, but I don't think in 100 years historians are going to be like, the biggest story of 2025 was the TikTok ban. No, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, Russia-Ukraine, Liberation Day tariffs, Israel, Hamas, the future of Gaza. I mean, there's so many more important stories. But because, 6 billion people use TikTok, got to update that TikTok ban. There you go. For all the Gen Zers out there, there's the latest on the TikTok ban. All right, when we come back, we're going to update our top local stories. More information, by the way, on those soldiers that were killed in Lithuania, not Lithonia, Lithuania. But first, let's check the Wednesday morning drive around town. Live with the latest, Mike Shields.
Yeah, pretty busy out there, Mark, with roadwork set up on 225 southbound. The interloop getting past Covington Highway, exit 43. That has the left lane blocked. The right lane's blocked with roadwork I-20 eastbound at Wesley Chapel Road, exit 68 in DeKalb County, and 316 eastbound jammed up leaving I-85 due to roadwork now set up in a right lane approaching Sugarloaf Parkway. You can use Duluth Highway, Highway 120 as an alternate. I'm Mike Schultz, 95.5 WSB.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
I've listened to many arguments, and there are good arguments to say that we shouldn't. So I'm just saying.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
This is the only way to do it. Some people are going to lose their job, and then they're going to be put back in the job.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
It's about you. You're being celebrated.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Looking for a great dining memory, y'all? Hey, it's Belinda. I love the amazing Southern food and service at Old Vinings Inn. If you haven't been there yet, you're missing out. Nestled in the heart of Vinings, that charming house offers a cozy, upscale, and welcoming atmosphere, perfect for any occasion. Romantic dinner, baby or bridal shower, business dinner, night out with friends. Old Vinings Inn has you covered. Indulge in delectable Southern cuisine, crafted with the freshest ingredients. Savor their signature fried green tomatoes and fried chicken, or delight in the rich flavors of my favorite, shrimp and grits. Everything on the menu is a winner. You thirsty? The curated wine list and handcrafted cocktails are sure to impress. Enjoy all that plus live entertainment and specials at the Attic Bar. Wednesday through Saturday nights. Ready for fun and flavor now, y'all? Open for lunch and brunch Thursday through Sunday and dinner Wednesday through Saturday. Reserve your table or large groups today at Old Vinings Inn.
Whoa! With the Cubs getting older, we need more space, so we're on the hunt for a new house. Our must-haves, a big yard for the Cubs and Scana Energy for natural gas. It won't be easy to choose the perfect house, but Scana has tons of options that'll make it easy to find the perfect natural gas plan. The sooner we find a place, the better. For a limited time, receive a $60 bill credit when you sign up. Call 1-877-GO-SCANA or visit scanaenergy.com/mover60. Limited time offer. Additional terms and conditions apply.
Window Nation customers have been singing our praises for years. With fast local service and an industry-leading 96% customer satisfaction rating, it's no wonder.
I researched window companies for the last year to see what the average prices were and the quality of work. Window Nation nailed both.
Right now, get 4 windows free with every 4 you buy, plus no interest for 2 years. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Schedule a free estimate now. Call 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com. That's 866-90NATION.
Atlanta DIY landlords, listen up. If you're exhausted from managing your rental properties all by yourself, my friends at Renters Warehouse Atlanta offering a 90-day test drive. Hire Renters Warehouse to manage your rental property for a low flat monthly fee as low as $115. If you're not satisfied at any time in the first 3 months, you can fire them. Get your management fees back. What do you get for that low flat monthly fee? A dedicated property management team, maintenance coordination, move in and move out property condition reports, advanced tenant screening with a 9-month tenant warranty, professional photography and videography, lease renewal processing and negotiations, online rent collection, monthly owner cash flow statements, and more. Renters Warehouse, so confident you'll love their service, they want an addition for your business. Choice is yours. Keep DIYing or see how Renters Warehouse can make your life easier. Start your 90-day test drive today. Go to rwatlanta.com or call 404-662-2322, 404-662-2322.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard joining MediShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network, so yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
$9:53 on the Mark Arum Show. All Doors, honoring Val Kilmer, played Jim Morrison in the Doors movie. More on the passing of Val Kilmer at the age of 65 throughout the broadcast. I do want to update the missing soldiers now. Unfortunately, 4 dead soldiers in Lithuania, all trained here at Fort Stewart in Georgia. The 4th missing American soldier has been found dead. Tammy Trujillo has more.
Georgia Franco was married to Sergeant Edmund Franco, one of the soldiers who died.
He's such a good dad. He loved him. I mean, I couldn't have handpicked somebody else to be a father. From the moment, we had him, he was in love.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told reporters a fourth soldier was found in addition to 3 others who died after a vehicle accident last month. The soldiers were with the 3rd Infantry Division out of Fort Stewart, Georgia. Leavitt said President Trump and the entire White House are praying for the victims' friends and family. The 4 soldiers went missing on March 25th, and their vehicle was discovered roughly 15 feet deep in a peat bog the next day. I'm Tammy Trujillo.
Yeah, so all 4 confirmed dead now. All 4 trained at Fort Stewart in Georgia, but none of the 4 were from Georgia. While we're overseas in Europe, Deborah, Germany's doing something for the first time in a long time.
Germany has launched its first deployment abroad since World War II. Troops will be sent to eastern Lithuania, not Lithonia, Mark, Lithuania, which is NATO's eastern flank. The unit is going to be fully operational by 2027, and it's going to be the first time German troops have been serving abroad permanently since the Second World War. This newly created brigade is going to have about 5,000 servicemen and women be stationed in the east of the country, and it's made up of frontline infantry and support units, including a medical center, a signal company, and command support teams. Lithuania borders Russia and Belarus and believes that NATO deployment in the country is essential to keeping it safe and sovereign.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a big story. The fact that Germany is sending troops, activating troops and sending them to eastern Lithuania. I suspect that the countries in Eastern Europe are very concerned that there will not be a quick and easy exit to the Russia-Ukraine war, and they want to get a military buffer there when eventually, if Vladimir Putin does take hold of all or a majority of Ukraine, that the buck stops there. There's no further movement to the west. So I think that's kind of a big story, that Germany's moving troops now into Lithuania, trying to provide that buffer zone and maybe a deterrent for Vladimir Putin, because there's no movement on the talks there. I did see a headline today that a Moscow official, a Kremlin official, is going to be coming to the United States either today or tomorrow to maybe restart the ceasefire talks. But as far as I'm concerned, those talks are DEAD. There's nothing going on. There's no reason for Vladimir Putin to agree to a ceasefire or a peace deal. In fact, as I mentioned yesterday on the show, he just drafted another 160,000 Russians in the military. That's not something you do if you're on the precipice of a ceasefire or a peace deal. You don't call up 160,000 more troops when you're very close to a ceasefire or peace deal. We shall see what happens. I want to be optimistic, but the fact that Germany's moving troops east, the fact that Putin's called up 160,000 more soldiers, the fact there's been no progress on the ceasefire deal. Remember, the United States and Ukraine agreed to the ceasefire deal. They just had to get Russia to sign off on it, and Russia said no. Not going to happen. And I don't see there's any incentive for them. Obviously, a major story, bigger than the TikTok story, in my honest, humble opinion. All right, Sabrina's standing by with news, weather, and traffic. I should mention tomorrow on the show, we've got Eric Andre booked as a guest, and the female lead from 1923, the the British actor, right, Deborah? She's the British actress.
Plays a British role.
What's that?
She's American, but she plays a British
No kidding.
Yes.
Oh, all right. Thank you for that. I would have embarrassed myself yesterday on the show. All right, she's American, but does a really good British accent. All right, that's coming up tomorrow on the show. All right, when we come back, the latest preview on Liberation Day, 4 p.m. announcement at the Rose Garden. More on the passing of Val Kilmer and the younger generation suffering from decision fatigue. Decision fatigue. I'll let you think about that. I'll explain next on The Mark Arum Show.
May take a week and it may take longer.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
The biggest factor, I think, in choosing a company is their integrity. Are they going to warranty their work and stand behind their work?
Meteorologist Glenn Burns loves his Infinity from Marvin fiberglass windows. from North Georgia Replacement Windows.
The product, of course, has to be good, but the folks standing behind that product have to be even better. This is the company that has the best products, the best service, the best installation.
Infinity from Marvin, replacement windows, yeah!
Mom and Dad seem different after a European-style holiday on MSC Cruises.
Call us Cloud and Yvette.
The ship had restaurants, shops, and nightlife.
La Galleria.
And of course, American touches like an aqua park and a sweets shop.
American je ne sais quoi.
Mom, you're from Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, Kevin.
Book now and save up to 30% off, plus kid sale free. MSC Cruises. Let's holiday. To book, visit msccruises.com or contact your travel advisor. Restrictions apply. Ships registered in Panama and Malta.
Hey, folks, it's Shelley Winter here. You know, sometimes they make fun of me around the office because I doze off at my desk while doing show prep. Well, you know why that happened? It's because of a lack of sleep. I have sleep apnea. So if you snore or have sleep apnea also, you're not living life to the fullest. So listen up. I know you're tired, but in all seriousness, this is important. My friends over at Palmetto Sleep are changing lives with a custom-fit oral appliance that stops your snoring and treats sleep apnea. I'm not talking about something you buy out of a supermarket. This is a custom-made for your mouth and covered by your private medical insurance. What I love most is that they do everything from the diagnosis to the delivery of the oral appliance and everything in between. They even provide a take-home sleep study and virtual consults. If you're ready for a great night's sleep, you're ready for Palmetto Sleep. Go to palmettosleep.com. That's palmettosleep.com right now. Don't suffer from another sleepless night. palmettosleep.com.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there, good morning. It is 10 o'clock. I'm Sabrina Cupid. Happening right now, a search is underway for a teenage suspect in a shooting at a Conyers apartment complex.
Conyers Police Captain Quantavis Garcia says an argument involving a group of teenagers at the Keswick Village Apartments ends with gunfire. Police find a 16-year-old shot.
The victim was being loaded into a friend's vehicle and being transported to a local area hospital.
He says that teen is in stable condition at Grady. The suspect got away. Police describe him as a black male, aged 17 to 18, last seen wearing a black hoodie, dark gray jeans, slides, and a ski mask. Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
All right, what are you expecting weather-wise today? Partly to mostly cloudy skies and an isolated rain shower possible, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Afternoon highs around 83. Millions of Americans, though, are in the path of potentially life-threatening storms today. Tornado watches in place from Missouri down through the Ozarks and to northwestern Arkansas and into Memphis, Tennessee. And the National Weather Service now saying that there were 5 confirmed tornadoes in our state Monday, 3 of them right here in the metro area, south of the city.
With wind speeds of 70 miles an hour, an EF0 tornado brought down trees and limbs in a quarter-mile path along Williamsburg Way near Fayetteville, though it caused no noticeable damage to buildings or other property. Earlier, crews had identified another EF0 tornado in Coweta County and an EF1 tornado near I-75 in Henry County.
And WSB's Graham Carroll reports that there were fortunately no injuries or fatalities in these storms. Actor Val Kilmer has died from pneumonia. He was diagnosed with throat cancer back in 2014. He's been in a string of films, Top Gun, The Doors, Batman Forever, and of course Tombstone.
Why, Johnny Ringo, you look like somebody just walked over your grave.
Kilmer died last night in Los Angeles, surrounded by his family and friends. He was just 65 years old. This afternoon, President Trump is expected to announce a sweeping new round of tariffs that could have an impact on consumers and the economy. Correspondent Mary Bruce is following.
After weeks of uncertainty and anxiety, in just hours here, President Trump is finally set to unveil his most aggressive tariffs yet. He says they will restore fairness to the global trading system and ultimately grow the U.S. economy. But economists warn American consumers will pay the price.
And of course, the president's scheduled to make that announcement at 4 o'clock this afternoon. We'll be watching. Check back for updates. One auto dealer is both concerned and cautiously optimistic about the tariffs.
It's tough because things are already expensive.
Allrich auto owner Joshua Allrich says the 25% tariffs may make it pricier for him to buy vehicles and the parts he needs to recondition them before selling.
And so we have to now worry about what these tariffs may do. We don't know just yet, but if they make car prices go up and parts go up, we essentially will have to go up as well.
Yet Allrich tells me he understands both sides. He's hopeful this tariff tango pays off.
The immediate changes are going to be expensive for people, but the long-term changes, I think, is going to allow a lot more jobs to be here.
In East Atlanta, Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
All right, this just into the newsroom. A federal judge has dismissed New York City Mayor Eric Adams' corruption case. The judge granting the Justice Department's extraordinary request to set aside criminal charges so the mayor could aid President Trump's immigration crackdown. But the judge denied prosecutors the ability to potentially bring the criminal case back after the mayoral election. The order to dismiss this case with prejudice spares Adams from having to govern in a way that pleases President Trump or potentially risk having the charges revived. The Justice Department's push to end this case caused a rift between its leadership in Washington and prosecutors in New York. Adams has pleaded not guilty to bribery and other charges. And finally, here at 10 o'clock,
I can start to imagine a world without crime now that I'm at Flock.
Flock Safety planning to open a new 97,000 square foot facility in Smyrna. They'll make drones and for first responders. They'll also be refurbishing damaged devices and assembling solar panels there. It's going to mean about 200 new jobs for that area over the next 3 years. And they are hiring right now. As we take a look at the markets, the Dow is down 87 at 41,902. NASDAQ is also in the red, so is the S&P. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Mike Shields joining us now with a look at the roads.
Hey, getting slow quickly in Holly Springs, Sabrina, with roadwork set up in a right lane. 575 southbound just south of 6th Road, exit 11. Also slow into Lawrenceville with roadwork. 316 eastbound approaching Sugarloaf Parkway. That's in a right lane. You can use Duluth Highway, Highway 120 as an alternate. And a crash in northeast Atlanta right in the middle of the busy intersection of La Vista Road at Cheshire Bridge Road, causing delays in all directions. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly to mostly cloudy today with an isolated rain shower possible, a high 83, lows tonight in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds, high 86. Feeling like summertime on Friday with highs in the upper 80s to low 90s.
It is 66 degrees in Clarkston and Dunwoody. Loganville has 63 degrees. We'll have more news at 10:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome back to the show and a good Wednesday morning to you. Mark Aram here, you there. It's 10:05, 5 minutes after 10 o'clock. This is the Mark Aram Show, live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon on 95.5 WSB. The whole family with us today. Deborah Green, the executive producer of the show. Longoria, the stoic Eskimo on the other side of the takeout window. Vinny Bag of Donuts screened your calls. Coming up in 45 minutes, we're going to talk to David Welch from Bloomberg News. Despite all of the market uncertainty and the threat of tariffs, first quarter automotive sales in the United States were gangbusters. We'll talk to David Welch. We'll talk about those statistics and the looming tariffs. Again, today is Liberation Day, Rose Garden ceremony, 4 p.m. President Trump is going to announce a new platform of tariffs. We still don't know exactly what will be in them. There are some predictions that it's going to the tariffs will be scripted toward the dirty 15 is what they've been called. The 15 countries in which the United States either has massive trade deficits with or are being tariffed by. So we might see more reciprocal tariffs. But again, that is just a guess. We really don't know what President Trump's going to announce at the Rose Garden at 4 p.m. But we will, of course, bring it to you live here on 95.5 WS&B. Again, Val Kilmer passed away at the age of 65. Not a shock, right? He had throat cancer, 2 tracheotomies. To me, my 2 favorite movies that Val Kilmer was in, Tombstone, obviously, right? I'm Your Huckleberry. It's just such an amazing performance. But the real movie that put him on the map for me was 1985's Real Genius, and where he played this super smart kid in college, and he was cool. He was a nerd, but he was cool. And being an 11 or 12-year-old nerd, I was like, oh, wow, you can be smart and a nerd, but still be cool. His character was, so I pulled up some audio. These are the best clips, some of the best clips of Real Genius 1985, just Val Kilmer cuts.
Because if I wear it anywhere else, it chafes. Did you classify that as a launch problem or a design problem? This is Ken. This is what happens to people when they get too sexually frustrated. 20 points higher than me? Thinks a big guy like that can wear his clothes?
I mean, it's such, if you've never seen it or you haven't seen it in 30 years, go watch Real Genius. It is amazing. I love it. And I was looking at the movie posters, and the movie posters were touting his character as an 80s Einstein, right? Which is funny because he was super smart, and they were like an Einstein for the new generation. One thing I am fascinated by Einstein. I've read like 4 Einstein biographies. Like just his life was insane from birth to death. An insane life for Einstein. But one thing that Einstein did was he always wore the same outfit, which is kind of genius, right? They asked him, Einstein, why do you always wear the same clothes? Not the same clothes. He just had the same outfit. That wasn't one outfit. He had, a number of those sweaters and pants or whatever. And he's like, why waste any energy or thought on what I wear when I need to be thinking about more important things? And that is something that Steve Jobs did. If we talk about an innovator post-Einstein, it's Steve Jobs, which leads us to our next story, Deborah, decision fatigue for Gen Z.
Do you struggle with what to wear every day? I mean, band t-shirt, leather jacket, how hard could it be? Gen Z is struggling what they call decision fatigue, claiming too many other factors in life make it just too challenging to pick out clothes every single day. There's a TikTok trend going around showing the Gen Zers opting for the daily uniform of a black top, jeans, and sneakers, mimicking the outfit of Steve Jobs.
People might push back on this, especially if you went to private school and you had to wear a uniform every day. But if you think about any movie set, in the distant future, everybody wears the same thing. Everyone wears the same outfit in the future. Maybe they're onto something. Like, we just all wear the same clothes. I know there's people in the fashion industry or people like to dress up all the time in band t-shirts and in leather pants. But, like, how much easier would... I mean, obviously, I don't spend a lot of time picking out my clothes. If I'm wearing because it's so warm today, I am wearing a short sleeve polo. But, I know people that struggle. My wife will pick out like 3 outfits the night before. What am I going to wear? She's packing for a spring break trip. The spare bedroom's just clothes everywhere. She doesn't know. If we just take that away and we all just wear the same thing, wouldn't that make life easier? Wouldn't that be or is that communist to be like, oh, yeah. I know.
Yeah, that'd be boring.
I remember in my small town, there was the public schools, but we also had a couple of Catholic private schools. And I remember a friend of mine in elementary school, his parents were going to send him to Catholic school for middle school and high school. And he was so upset because he had to wear a uniform. And I was like, you won't get picked on about your clothes, man. Like, that's great. I remember getting picked on about because I had to wear hand-me-downs for my older cousins. I was jealous. I'm like, you don't have to worry about anything. You know what you're going to wear. People can't make fun of you for what you're wearing. And then this brings me to the last point on this. I'm going to get to the important stuff in just a second. There was a kid, and this just shows the ignorance of youth. There was a kid I went to school with. I don't know if it was elementary school or middle school. His Italian. I'm not going to tell you his last name, but he was an Italian kid, Alfredo. Nice kid, fine kid. But speaking about getting picked on wearing the same clothes, he had a pair of red jeans. Red jeans in the 80s, which was a bold fashion choice and unforgettable, right? And he wore them to school like 4 or 5 days in a row. And the ignorance of a child, I was like, asked a friend, I'm like, what's he doing? Like, why is he, we know you wore those same pants yesterday. He didn't have 4 different pairs of red jeans. And my friend was like, Alfredo's poor, man. That's the only pair of jeans he has. And I was like, whoa. Like, you learn real quick. It didn't even occur to me that he didn't have 5 pairs of jeans to wear during the... So anyway, back to the Gen Z decision fatigue. Alfredo didn't have he had no choice. Now, to be fair, no one made fun of him for it. Everyone apparently was way smarter than I was, knowing that Alfredo just came from a poorer family and didn't have the means to wear new jeans every day. But yeah, maybe we're better off if we all just wear I mean, every sci-fi feature from the year 3500 and beyond, everyone's wearing the same thing. Maybe if we take that off the table, we can accomplish more in life, in this world. We'll make this a better world. I'm just making excuses because from my crappy wardrobe. Maya gets on me so much. When are you going to buy new clothes? I was so embarrassing. We ran into George Estevez at a restaurant, and it was Preachy. Give them a shout out. Preachy and Bucket. We ran into George Estevez, and I was wearing my nice outfit, which is
what you consider nice.
What I consider nice. And George, of course, always looks fantastic. And Maya goes to George, "Can you take Mark shopping? Can you buy him?" So maybe it's just I don't want Maya to be embarrassed. If I have to wear the same thing every day, like Einstein or Steve Jobs or the Gen Zers, maybe I won't be embarrassed anymore. Quick note in history, while I have you, Deborah. 20 years ago today, Catholics lost a beloved pope. John Paul II died at the Vatican at the age of 84.
Santo Padre Giovanni Paolo II è tornato alla casa del Padre. Preghiamo per lui.
Vinny, do me a favor. Check the calendar. April 2nd, 2005. I'm pretty sure that was on the weekend because when the Pope died, I got called into work. Like, it was such a big story that our program director at the time, Boss Hogg, called me up and was like, "We need you to come in and anchor the coverage of the death of the Pope." And I was like, there's very few times, I'm not putting these people in the same category, but when the Pope died, I got called in. When Michael Jackson died, I got called in because we did special programming. Whitney Houston died. I mean, I'm not comparing those three individuals, but that I have been summoned when major figures pass away to come in and anchor our special coverage. Was that a weekend, Vinny? Did you see?
It was a Saturday.
Yeah, it was a Saturday, which makes sense. Because if it was Monday through Friday, it would have been Slade, right? Scott Slade would have come in, or Chris Camp would have come. But on the weekends, I was the weekend jamoke, coming in. But to me, that was such a huge story because for my entire life, that he was the Pope. To this day, if you say draw a picture of the Pope, I'm drawing a picture of John Paul II. So even though I am not Catholic, I was taken aback by that story. That's the only Pope I knew my entire life. I can only imagine, Deborah, what you were feeling 20 years ago when John Paul II passed away.
Yeah, much like you, JP2 was the only pope that I ever knew, and it was also right around Easter, which is a huge deal, right, to lose the head of your figure coming up to the biggest holiday on the Catholic calendar. And actually, his Saint's Day is my birthday, so it's a special connection for me.
Speaking of the Pope, I guess we haven't had an update on the current Pope's health, so I guess that's no news is good news, right?
He's out of the hospital. He's back home, but they told him no appearances for at least a month.
All right. So we wish him well. But, yeah, that was 20 years ago. I remember getting the phone call. And Boss Hogg, Pete Spriggs, was like, "Hey, the Pope died. We need you to get down." This is before the WSB radio app where you get the alerts, like the push alerts when someone big passes away. And I hightailed it to the studio. I was on for like 4 or 5 hours taking calls about the Pope. All right, I digress. Let us talk about Israel-Hamas. This is an interesting twist to the story. The families of Israeli hostages being held in Gaza have sharply criticized Israel's decision to expand the war in Gaza. Our friend Linda Gradstein from CBS has more from Jerusalem.
A group representing the families of the 59 hostages, both living and dead, said the families were horrified by a statement from Israel's defense minister that the operation in Gaza would be expanded to capture extensive territory. In a statement, the group accused the government of sacrificing the hostages for territorial gains in Gaza. A 2-month-old ceasefire between Israel and Hamas broke down last month, and Palestinians in Gaza say the humanitarian situation is on the brink of collapse.
Yeah, as pessimistic as I am about the Russia-Ukraine ceasefire talks, I'm even more pessimistic about Israel-Hamas ceasefire talks. The ceasefire deal that was in place, moving well, long gone. Israel's back in Gaza right now, and you can hear the concern of the families of the hostages, both dead and alive, that are still in Gaza, that they will never see their loved ones again. And I'm afraid that's the reality on the ground. With Israel's expansion into Gaza, Hamas and the pressure from President Trump, the only leverage they have are those hostages. So I'm very dubious that they'll ever see their loved ones again, whether alive or dead. Very sad stuff. Anything important pops in the Mideast, we'll, of course, bring it to you live here on 95.5 WSB. All right, when we come back after a quick break, going to continue to preview Liberation Day. We'll go back up to the White House, check the latest there, what President Trump set to say today at the Rose Garden at 4 p.m. But currently, You are dealing with delays out of Midtown Atlanta. Live with the latest, Smile and Mark McKay.
Our colleague Mike Shields spotted the all lanes blocked situation temporarily on 7585 northbound, with police holding all lanes at 17th Street exit 251. They've since released those lanes, so it's extra slow leaving downtown. I-20 working your way through Midtown up to the split where 85 and 75 meet. And our other colleague, Judd Hickenbotham, also noticed a temporary slowdown and stoppage of I-85 in northeast Atlanta Brookhaven at North Druid Hills Road, exit 89. I checked the jam cam, moving there, but slow as you leave Shallowford Road, exit 93, heading south on I-85. This report sponsored by Georgia Commute Options. With Georgia Commute Options, you get more out of every mile. Earn prizes, gift cards, and other cool deals when you switch from driving alone to a cleaner trip. More at mygco.com. Smile and Mark McKay, 95.5 WSB.
The morning rush hour, the evening rush hour, and everything in between.
Slow spots are starting to build up the east side perimeter on 285 North.
Tune in 24/7 with the Triple Team Traffic
We've
Center.
had several breakdowns, including one in the express lane.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hot water heater just not cutting it anymore? You don't get that piping hot shower you want every morning? Hey, it's Mark Aaron back from my friends at Reliable Heating and Air. Check out this amazing deal. New water heater, only $29.99 a month, and make no payments for 3 whole months. Or you can go tankless, only $59.99 a month, and you can enjoy that lovely, endless hot water. Same day water heater installation guaranteed, or they pay you $300. Get that new water heater now. Save a ton of money. Just go online. Air.com.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. We can reawaken any space to make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Attention men, are you suffering from ED or PE? Here's an important message from Choice Men's Health.
I'm Dr. Katz and I'm the Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Are you performing the way you want to in the bedroom? If the answer is no and you've tried Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra and were disappointed, then you need to come see us immediately. If you don't see results on the first visit, then there's no charge. Many of our patients have medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and prostate problems. I'm happy to say that we have 98% success rate with all our patients. Our customized solutions will allow you to perform within 10 minutes and last an hour and even longer. You can regain your love life and tackle your ED and PE problems. Guys, your partner will never complain again. Our clinic has the most affordable prices, so if you visit other clinics and you're not completely satisfied, then you need to call Choice Men's Health.
Regain your love life regardless of your age or medical history. Choice Men's Health guarantees results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call now. 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
Hey, it's Scott Slade from my roofer, FGA Roofing. If your neighbor's designer roof has caught your eye, search FGA Roofing. And for a limited time, get $1,000 off your final quote if you mention you heard about it on the radio. Search FGA Roofing. That's FGA Roofing. And ask about 0% financing.
The biggest and best gun shows are the Eastman Gun Shows, and they're coming this weekend to the Clarence Brown Arena in Cartersville. This weekend, Eastman rolls into town with the best selection of guns, knives, hunting rifles, scopes, clips, shotguns, and accessories you've ever seen in one place. Bring your whole family, rain or shine. We have everything for the lovers of the right to bear arms. It's Saturday from 9 to 5 and Sunday from 10 to 4 at the Clarence Brown Arena in Cartersville. Eastman Gun Shows, proud supporters of the Second Amendment.
Looking for a great dining memory, y'all? Hey, it's Belinda. I love the amazing Southern food and service at Old Vinings Inn. If you haven't been there yet, you're missing out. Nestled in the heart of Vinings, that charming house offers a cozy, upscale, and welcoming atmosphere, perfect for any occasion. Romantic dinner, baby or bridal shower, business dinner, night out with friends. Old Vinings Inn has you covered. Indulge in delectable Southern cuisine, crafted with the freshest ingredients. Savor their signature fried green tomatoes and fried chicken, or delight in the rich flavors of my favorite, shrimp and grits. Everything on the menu is a winner. You thirsty? The curated wine list and handcrafted cocktails are sure to impress. Enjoy all that plus live entertainment and specials at the Attic Bar. Wednesday through Saturday nights. Ready for fun and flavor now, y'all? Open for lunch and brunch Thursday through Sunday and dinner Wednesday through Saturday. Reserve your table or large groups today at Old Vinings Inn.
If you're approaching or in retirement, listen closely. The stock market has been volatile. Are you tired of seeing your retirement account nosedive? With so much going on in the world, how can you be confident that your retirement is safe? Let me show you how. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth. Retirement is meant to be enjoyed, but it's hard when you're not sure that your nest egg is safe. At Mitch Lyons Wealth, we wrote the book on protecting your retirement. It's called Retirement of Steel, and each of our clients enjoys a retirement of steel that can weather any storm. If you're not 100% sure that your retirement account is safe, contact us today for a complimentary review. Let's see if the strategies that we're using to help people retire confidently can work for you. I think you'd agree 40 years of working hard and saving for retirement is worth this call. Call 888-471-3896, 888-471-3896, again 888-471-3896. MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
Probably seeing double. I have 2 guns, one for each of you.
Oh, my God. What a great performance. Val Kilmer and Tombstone. We're listening to Doors music because Val Kilmer also played Jim Morrison. Welcome back to the Mark Arum Show. Rest in peace, Val, at the age of 65. More in his passing throughout the show. Big story today, however, is the Liberation Day announcement. 4 p.m. at the Rose Garden. President Trump expected to make a big tariff announcement. Let's see if we get any new information. Elena Treen, CNN at the White House.
Oh, yeah, well, the details are still very much unclear, Wolf. And part of that is because yesterday the president spent much of his day, I'm told, huddled with top trade advisors, getting calls from friends and allies, and really trying to perfect, as the White House has referred to it, this tariff announcement. Now, what we do know is that it's going to be at 4 p.m. today in the Rose Garden, his first Rose Garden event of his second term. And I'm told that it will also include the pomp and circumstance that he wants for this kind of dramatic announcement. But part of the thing that's interesting about that, Wolf, is the timing of this. Originally, I was told it was slated to kick off at 3 p.m. Then they moved the time to 4 p.m. Notable, I say, because that is after markets close. Now, you mentioned some of the things that we've heard that have been floated. I think the key question really is the president and this administration going to impose tariffs differently for different countries in the true sense of the reciprocal meaning of that word? Or will it be, as you mentioned, across the board tariffs on all different countries, as high as we're hearing 20%? That is still unclear, I'm told, and I do think things could change potentially before this 4 p.m. announcement. Now, one key thing that isn't clear as well is what will the impact be on consumers, particularly when will we see those higher prices? Will we see higher prices because of these tariffs? Another thing as well is, are there going to be any sort of exemptions for any specific goods or countries? The White House has said that these tariffs are going to be effective immediately. However, we've also heard that the president is open to renegotiating some of these down the line. So even though we're going to hear this announcement today, things could potentially change in a couple weeks from now.
CNN's Elena Treen at the White House moments ago. So getting some new reporting about, again, we're still unsure what we're going to hear on this Liberation Day announcement at the Rose Garden, 4 p.m. It will be covered live here on 95.5 WSB. Those are broader tariffs. We also have tariffs imposed right now currently on Mexico and Canada. Coming up at 11:05, Adrienne Bard from CBS News going to join us live from Mexico City. The president of Mexico had some things to say about tariffs. We'll get an update live from Mexico City after the news at 11. Top local stories coming up in 2 minutes. Social medias are active at Mark Arum, MarkArum, and at WSB Radio.
When your termite bond renewal comes in the mail, do you cringe, wondering how much more are they going to charge me now? Switch to Breda Pest Management, and your termite rate is locked in for 10 years. Scott Slade here. If your termite service doesn't inspect inside, how do you know you're protected? With Breda, you get total peace of mind that your home is termite-free inside and out. And your termite rate is locked in for 10 years.
Breda, Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group, to discuss one of the biggest blind spots that people face when saving for retirement, and it's a head-scratcher. Chris, how do so many people not know what they're invested in?
That's the biggest
flaw that everybody runs into. They think they know what equities they have, they think they know what bonds they have, but they really don't know how those mutual funds or how those index funds are performing in conjunction with one another. So, I would liken this to a big pot of soup, and we're just throwing all the ingredients in the refrigerator in this thing. It's not very good. It's just a mishmash of stuff. And sometimes you like the way it tastes. Sometimes you don't. And when you don't know why. You don't know if you got too much chicken in there or too much vegetables in there or what's going on. And I ask every caller that comes in for an initial consultation, do you know how your portfolio is broken down? And they say, well, I've got, 20 or so options in my 401k, and I just picked 2 of them or 3 of them. I thought I needed some international. I thought I needed some U.S. equities. I thought I needed some bonds. And they're just guessing. So you have to absolutely know what you're invested in, and that's where we will run the 401k portfolio x-ray for you, because that'll break it down. If you're not proficient at investing and don't understand this world, we will walk you through it. Not knowing what you're invested in is a big hindrance to growing and protecting your money. We will run a portfolio x-ray for you and educate you on exactly what's in your portfolio.
Set up a time to get your complimentary portfolio x-ray today. Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858. That's 404-737-3858, or book online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Hey, it's Shelley Winter. With the uncertainty of possible tariffs scheduled for April 2nd, Butler Lexus of South Atlanta has your pre-tariff Lexus right now. Visit before April 2nd for guaranteed pre-tariff pricing. Call 800-NEW-LEXUS.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 10:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by your Metro Atlanta area AMCO dealers. A new massive facility and hundreds of jobs are headed to Cobb County.
Flock Safety plans to open the 97,000 square foot manufacturing facility in Smyrna. The safety tech company says it'll be used to make drones for first responders, assemble solar panels, and refurbish damaged devices. It's expected to add just over 200 jobs over the next 3 years. Flock says hiring for the positions is now underway. Applicants can apply online. Governor Kemp announced the project, touting Georgia as a state that fosters innovative companies. Judd Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
Your weather for today, partly to mostly cloudy. An isolated rain shower is possible with a high of 83 this afternoon, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Weather forecasters are warning of epic amounts of rain across the Mid-South and Ohio Valley. Flood watches posted now for Arkansas to Ohio. John Holden is the mayor of Dyersburg in northwestern Tennessee, where there was widespread flooding just 2 months ago.
We do have concerns. The river is really low right now, which is good for us, and but we'll continue to monitor it.
More than 30 million people are under flood alerts. Now to Conyers, where police are searching for a suspect in a shooting at the Keswick Village Apartments. A teenager shot and is in stable condition right now. Captain Quintavious Garcia with Conyers Police telling us what happened.
An altercation had occurred between a group of juveniles in the parking lot of the apartments. One of the witnesses was able to provide a description and an area where the suspect ran.
The shooter is still on the run. He's described as black, wearing a black hoodie, blue jeans, slides, and a ski mask. Anybody with information being asked to call police. It's dubbed Liberation Day, and it could be a very pivotal day for the U.S. economy, as President Trump is set to announce major new tariffs on products coming in from other countries, including main trading partners with the U.S. Money Watch correspondent Kelly O'Grady this morning looking at how businesses are reacting.
It's creating paralysis for many companies that are trying to plan their next move. Now, in addition to increased costs, companies could face supply chain disruptions and retaliation from other countries.
As she says, many economists worry about the lack of details so far about these tariffs. The White House insisting the president is open to phone calls with foreign leaders to work out trade deals. Today's announcement expected at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Be sure and check back for updates on that. New York City Mayor Eric Adams having his federal corruption case dismissed. A federal judge this morning issuing the decision to toss out the case. The charges were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they cannot be brought up against Adams again. The Justice Department had ordered prosecutors to drop the case. And Atlanta-based Delta Airlines ranks high on the Fortune list of best companies to work for in 2025. Delta ranks 15th this year and is the only airline on the list. Executive editor of Fortune, Ashley Lutz, says the 100 best companies are more profitable and productive because they've created consistently positive work experiences, resulting in lower burnout and higher levels of psychological and emotional health compared to typical workplaces.
Employee trust can be measured. The companies see dividends paid when they really invest in their employees. And I think that that's a really important message in corporate America right now, because a lot of CEOs are struggling to kind of find the new normal.
And Hilton, by the way, was ranked the best, according to Fortune. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is up 55 at 42,045. NASDAQ is also in the green slightly, and so is the S&P. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Smile and Mark McKay has a look at your roads.
Construction's up and running this morning out of Buckhead, Sabrina, on 400 southbound, right at the 85 ramp. That is the ramp that takes you to 85 south off of 400. Only a right lane open there. Delays back before Lennox Road, so you use Peachtree or Piedmont to head south toward northeast Atlanta. Still seeing slowing on 75-85 northbound as you leave University Avenue exit 244, working your way up into downtown. The delays out of Canton into Holly Springs and Woodstock has to do with right lane construction. 575 southbound, south of 6th Road, exit 11, Highway 5 or Bell's Ferry. Two good options to get around it. Smiler Mark McKay, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly to mostly cloudy today with an isolated pop-up shower possible, high 83. Lows tonight in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, high 86. Heating up on Friday to the upper 80s to low 90s.
67 degrees right now in Tucker. It's 70 in Douglasville. Forest Park, you have 69 degrees. More news at 11 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
It's the only way to do any kind of reform of the federal government.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
I don't remember.
Eric Von Hessler. Today at 3.
Who are you speaking for?
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Wisconsin is mainly about Trump voters not showing up in off-year elections.
That's Larry Sabato, political director, commenting on yesterday's special election in Wisconsin. We had two big results in Florida as well. We'll recap those and continue to preview Liberation Day 2 minutes away on The Mark Arum Show.
Gardeners are anticipating the warmer weather, and so are my friends at Ragsdale. Right now, get up to $1,700 off a brand new Carrier home comfort system and enjoy Ragsdale's own trusted 15-year parts and labor warranty. I say my friends at Ragsdale because they really are. My family's trusted them for years. For a new furnace, plumbing problems, or blown-in insulation, they're always on time and work with my busy schedule. Learn why they have a 4.9 Google rating. Start by visiting RagsdaleAir.com. Ragsdale, the name I know you can trust.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Don't miss your chance to take advantage of the Buy 4, Get 4 free sale and pay nothing until 2027. Sale ends soon, only from Window Nation. Schedule your free estimate now at 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. That's windownation.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Playing a game with your family? Fun! Playing a game with your roof, you'll lose every time. Findlay Roofing is the perfect match for your roof. The extra effort experts with upfront pricing and exceptional service. FindlayRoofing.com.
Roof. Before you slip into
10:37 on the Mark Arum Show. All doors today, by the way, in honor of Val Kilmer, who played Jim Morrison in that amazing movie, Doors. Mr. Kilmer passed away at the age of 65. More on his legendary career coming up on the show. 30 minutes now, we're going live to Mexico City. Adrian Bard from CBS News going to join us live. Movement on the Mexican tariffs. The Mexican president had some things to say yesterday, and we'll continue our coverage of Liberation Day, the Rose Garden announcement by President Trump, 4 p.m. What will he say? What tariffs will he throw down on the rest of the world today? We'll find out together. We'll bring it to you live, 4 p.m., Rose Garden, 95.5 WSB. Before I update the special elections in Florida, Deborah, I got to ask you a question. So a couple weeks ago, I went to Golden Corral with Alex Williams and Smiling Mark McKay, and a lot of people were upset. Longoria was upset. Sanjay was upset. That Vinny was upset that I didn't do that. So next week, I want to invite like a bunch of people to the Golden Corral. We'll set up a little thing so I don't upset anyone. And I was like, I'll just send out an Evite. But then I realized I haven't gotten an Evite in like 12 years. Are Evites still a thing?
You know, they are still a thing, but much like yesterday, how we talked about Gen Zers will judge your email name, the only people I get Evites from are like older people. Usually you just get a text or jump on Signal like we all are and do just a big message out to everybody. But yeah, I haven't used Evite in forever.
All right. But I can still do, I'm old, so people would expect an Evite from someone like me. So
yeah, just don't do it on a Friday in case anyone's observing Lent.
Oh, yeah. Well, I got it. All right. So, Vinny, you're in the clear dietarily now. You can eat. Longoria, can you go to Golden?
Yeah, I can
whatever.
go any day.
All right. Yeah. And Alex Williams has no dietary constraints. All right. I'm going to craft that Evite, which is still a thing, apparently. All right. Updating the special elections in Florida. Republicans' slim majority in the House grows a little larger. More from CBS correspondent Jennifer Kuiper.
GOP candidates in 2 Florida congressional districts have won in special elections, with Jimmy Patronis filling the vacated seat of Matt Gaetz and Randy Fine replacing Mike Waltz, who's now serving as President Trump's national security advisor. Patronis thanks the president.
I'm looking forward to working with him to help rebuild our military, to close the border, to keep men out of women's sports.
Randy Fine says regarding Social Security,
we are not going to cut the benefits in any way, shape, or form from Americans who earned it, and they're entitled to it.
Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
All right, so that empty Gaetz seat and the empty Waltz seat in Florida, as predicted by me on the show yesterday and the day before yesterday, held by the Republicans. So big wins for President Trump and a big win for Speaker Mike Johnson. You mentioned Signal, Deborah, and Mike Waltz. He was, now the national security advisor. He gave up that congressional seat. This is similar to the Signal story, and it's raising more questions. NSA advisor Mike Waltz and his staff have been reportedly using Gmail to conduct government business. More from CBS News correspondent Michael Wallace.
Sources tell the Washington Post Waltz had his schedule and other work documents sent to his Gmail. One of his senior aides used Gmail to discuss sensitive military positions and powerful weapon systems relating to an ongoing conflict. His colleagues responded using government-issued accounts. Gmail is far less secure than the Signal app, which Waltz and other cabinet members recently used to discuss military operations in Yemen. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Again, I don't want to throw Mike Walls under the bus, the national security advisor, but he has more experience than Pete Hegseth when it comes to national security matters, right? Pete Hegseth served in the Army, served in the armed forces, but he got the job because he was on Fox News, and President Trump's like, I like that guy, which is his prerogative. That's why he chose him. But Mike Walls has a background of dealing with classified documents. He knows what to do and what not to do. I can't. Using Gmail, I mean, come on. Clark Howard talks about all the data breaches out there, our information's out there, our passwords are out there, and using Gmail instead of the official government protected email to do this, you know better than that, Walls. You absolutely should. He served in the Bush administration as defense policy director in the Pentagon and as counterterrorism advisor to Vice President Dick Cheney. He's not a newbie. He's not a rookie. This isn't his first rodeo. What is he thinking? Hegseth, for me, gets a pass. He's new to the game. He's never been, had those classified clearances, might not know the protocol. So the fact that I'm willing to overlook that as, don't do it again, talking about the Signal story. But Walsh, you've been in the game for 20 years, dude. You know, Gmail. I guess it's not Hotmail, right? I guess it's better than a Hotmail account. But I mean, I don't understand these self-inflicted wounds. Dick Cheney, you think Dick Cheney would have put up with sending this government information via Gmail instead of your encrypted, protected government email? Your information's out there. My information's out there. Your social security number's probably out there. Your cell phone. Maybe your email passwords are out there. Waltz, no, you know better, man. You know better. He's been in that classified realm before. Anyway, disappointment on I'm disappointed from him. He should know better. Hopefully he will stop with the Gmail. All right, I want to pull this from Atlanta's Morning News. Daniel Flatley from Bloomberg News was on with Chris Chandler. Again, the big story today, Liberation Day, Rose Garden, 4 p.m. President Trump's going to announce some more tariffs. We don't know exactly what he will say, but we can take some guesses maybe. We can read between the lines. But this is Daniel Flatley from Bloomberg on with Chris Chandler this morning.
What he is attempting to do, or what he said that he's attempting to do, is to liberate America from unfair trade agreements that he says are ripping off the U.S. and have ripped off the U.S. over the last several years. And so what we're expecting is that he will announce what he's calling reciprocal tariffs on several countries. And the idea is that these countries will have the option of either paying the tariff or lowering the tariff barriers that they have erected to U.S. goods and services.
We don't know exactly what's going to happen, but give me the con argument in a nutshell versus what you've just said.
So what somebody might say if they were, opposed to these tariffs is that the U.S. has not attempted anything like this in well over nearly 100 years. And the last time it tried this, which was in the early 1930s, it was sort of an unmitigated disaster. Sank the U.S. deeper into the Great Depression. Economists say, look, tariffs are not a good idea because they increase the price of goods, they slow economic growth, and right now we're coming out of a period of high inflation in the United States, and to layer on tariffs on top of everything else that we've gone through with the COVID-19 pandemic and everything else is really not a good idea for the economy. So Trump is, sort of saying, well, I hear you, but we're going our own way on this, and we have a vision for what we want to achieve. And by the way, it's going to be a golden age by the time this is all done. And so that's his perspective.
We discussed that yesterday morning a little bit, specifically when it comes to car prices and car parts and car repairs. We've heard a lot about that, but what else short term?
TVs will cost more. Consumer appliances will cost more. Economists basically are afraid that this will spike inflation, that it will slow growth, and that it will have kind of a negative net effect on the economy. On the flip side, some have argued that with the tax cuts that we're expecting later this year, that there could be a little bit of a stimulative effect. But the understanding at the moment is that stimulative effect from tax cuts won't be enough to really offset the hit from tariffs.
Will, after this announcement, at least knowing what's going to be put into place, calm things down? Are we looking at longer term turmoil like we have seen till now?
Yeah, it's a great question. Stocks sell off when investors think that Trump is going to take a maximalist line on his tariffs, when he's really going to go all in and really, hit other countries hard. We see a little bit of a rebound in the stocks when investors feel that Trump may moderate his trade policies somewhat. We really don't know exactly how it's all going to shake out in the end, because I think the administration hasn't totally figured out how it's going to go.
Dan Flatley, Bloomberg News, on with Chris Chandler, Atlanta's Morning News this morning. Again, we continue to guesstimate what President Trump's going to say via Liberation Day, the announcement 4 p.m. in the Rose Garden today. I can tell you right now, the markets aren't doing too bad. All in the green, the Dow, the S&P, and the NASDAQ all up a little bit. We'll see how they react tomorrow because the announcement at 4 p.m., we won't see much time for the markets to react, but we will continue to provide updates on that. We do have good news in the automotive industry, record-breaking first quarter sales. We'll discuss that next. But first, we got big construction delays out of Cherokee County. Live to Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center. Smile and Mark McKay.
Travel advisory is up, and you've been warned if you're rolling out of Canton through Holly Springs toward Woodstock, only a left lane getting by this road work. I'm watching live in the Jam Cam on 575 southbound below 6's Road, exit 11. You have Highway 5 or Bells Ferry to get you around those delays. Trying to get into Lawrenceville, a bit of a challenge at times. They've got the ramp blocked from 316 eastbound onto Sugarloaf Parkway. Construction down the east side perimeter takes out a left lane on 285 south at Covington Highway and rugged out of Buckhead. 400 south, only a right lane getting by road work at the I-85 merge. Smile and Mark McKay, 95.5 WSB.
When traffic hits.
I-75 completely shut down north and south between McDonough and Locust Grove.
The Triple Team Traffic Center has you covered.
Brake lights fill in on 316 westbound at Sugarloaf Parkway.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
Heavy police, fire department activity.
Brought to you by the Cool Ray Lifetime Parts and Labor Warranty.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hey, it's Scott Slade from iRoofer, FGA Roofing. If your home's exterior could use an updated look, or maybe one of your neighbor's designer roofs has caught your eye, search FGA Roofing for the latest in designer architectural shingles. Ask about 0% financing. That's FGA Roofing.
Mom and Dad seemed different after a European-style holiday on MSC Cruises.
Call us Cloud and Yvette.
The ship had restaurants, shops, and nightlife.
La Galleria.
And of course, American touches, like an aqua park and a sweets shop.
American je ne sais quoi.
Mom, you're from Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, Kevin.
Book now and save up to 30% off, plus kids sale free. MSC Cruises. Let's holiday. To book, visit msccruises.com or contact your travel advisor. Restrictions apply. Ships registered in Panama and Malta.
Attention antique lovers, this weekend it's the Lakewood 400 Antique Market, located north of Atlanta on Georgia Highway 9, 2 miles south of Cumming. Visit their website at lakewoodantiques.com for more information. This weekend, don't miss the Lakewood 400 Antique Market.
Termites, like me, eat 24/7, and your home is in their path of destruction. Mark Aram here for Breda Pest Management. You want a complete barrier from Breda, not just a bait station. If your current service only inspects the outside, how do you know the inside of your home's termite-free? Breda is better at beating termites. Only Breda inspects and protects the outside and inside. Plus, your termite rate is locked in for 10 years.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
So your garage door won't open. It could be something simple. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage and Entry Doors. The most common call we get is, help, my garage door is broken. It could be a broken spring or a bent track, but usually it's a malfunctioning opener. Whether you call it an opener or a remote, that little button takes a lot of abuse. When yours breaks, All Four Seasons is your home for the best opener options. When trust matters, trust us. All, the number 4, seasonsgarages.com.
EMC Security.
Meet EMC Security's hero of the home.
After some break-ins in my neighborhood, it got me thinking about my family's security. A friend recommended EMC Security, so I called them. Now I have peace of mind that my family is safe without having to sign a long-term contract.
Way to go, Sarah. Be the hero of your home with no contracts, fast and reliable monitoring, and rates as low as $16.95.
EMC Security. Smart protection for a safer tomorrow.
Is your old AC unit ready for another sweltering Atlanta summer? Probably not. Hey, good news. Mark Aram back from my friends at Reliable. Great new deal going on right now, guys. Any size AC, just $69.99 a month, 0 down, low monthly payments, and next day installation guaranteed, or they pay you $500. Any AC, just $69.99 a month. Book an appointment for a convenient time right on their website at reliableair.com and click on the schedule service button or call or text 770-594-9969. 10:52 on the Mark Aram Show. Remembering Val Kilmer passed away at the age of 65. Got to fact check myself. Val, of course, played Jim Morrison in the movie Doors, and apparently, Deborah, he did do the singing in the movie The Doors. I got fact checked on Twitter. I just Googled it, and yeah, Val Kilmer did all the vocals, the Jim Morrison vocals in The Doors. So even greater talent was Mr. Val Kilmer. We'll continue to talk about him. We're going to continue to preview Liberation Day, 4 p.m. announcement at the Rose Garden by President Trump. Joining us live from Bloomberg News, covering all things automotive, our buddy David Welsh. David, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Didn't expect to see this. Big numbers first quarter in the automotive industry. Record sales, record profits. What exactly are we talking about?
We're definitely looking at some big sales. Look, people have been seeing that Trump is going to come out with a bunch of tariffs that will start tomorrow. We'll get an update on exactly what those are today, but a lot of people who are in the market or close to being in the market figured, hey, may as well buy or lease a vehicle now and not be stuck paying a few thousand more or many thousands more once the tariffs are actually announced. So you had the first quarter was solid, and then March just kind of went crazy. There were anecdotally speaking, some frenzy in some dealership showrooms. So big March for a lot of companies. Here's a quick example: Honda sales were up 16% in the first quarter, but they were up 26% in March.
Wow.
Now March is always a better month than January and February, but this was a bit of a bonanza. So a lot of people trying to get in ahead of tariffs, and also people who want an electric vehicle are getting in ahead of what they think is, Trump eventually cutting the tax credits that are available for those.
Interesting. Yeah, we saw that locally. There were definitely rushes at the local Atlanta dealerships in the month of March, and maybe I hope the automotive industry saves their nuts as squirrels might in that first quarter, because we don't know what's going to happen second, third, and fourth quarter, finishing out 2025. David, while I have you, I had a conversation with a coworker talking about the Liberation Day, and we don't know yet what President Trump's going to do. The question I have for you: does the nation of Japan slap tariffs on American cars going there? Is there a tariff between Japan and America with American cars heading to Japan? Do you know that?
There are. Trying to think. There are also some other restrictions, but let's.
Yeah, because I tried
to pull this up.
No. Well, while you're doing that, I'll explain. I tried to see. I couldn't find any tariffs specifically that the Japanese have on American vehicles, but the term I saw most noted was they kind of freeze out American automotives in Japan. Less than 1% of the automobiles bought in Japan are American made, and I don't know if that's because they don't like what we have. The big SUVs and the pickup trucks. They tend to go for the smaller vehicles, but I couldn't find any notion of a tariff that is levied against American automobiles.
They used to have big tariffs. I'm not sure what it is now, and it's actually difficult to come up with this. Now there are. It's always just kind of been a closed market, even just from a kind of a social perspective. Like, Japanese buyers, they do like BMWs, but they haven't really liked much from many others.
Yeah.
The Japanese cars, particularly Toyota. I mean, Toyota has like 50% of the market. It's sort of like General Motors in the 1960s.
But I did find the stat that
Toyota has.
23% of our trade between the United States and Japan are U.S. consumers buying Japanese automobiles. So obviously huge demand here in the United States for Japanese made automobiles, and they're making a ton more here in the United States.
That's right.
Final question: are you expecting any automotive hiccups after the Liberation Day announcement today?
Well, what do you mean by hiccups? I mean, I think
reactions.
It depends, right? Like, the auto industry has been pushing for some relief on tariffs on the parts content of the vehicles that are made here or that are imported from Canada and Mexico. They basically want to preserve as much of the USMCA deal as possible so that those vehicles would come up here with maybe some very minor tariffs on them. If they get that, you won't see a lot of the Detroit 3 relocating things. But I think what you will see over time, if these tariffs stick, foreign companies, particularly Toyota, which gets half of their U.S. sales from imported vehicles, some from Canada, mostly Japan, over time they're going to have to put more production here because it's just too big of a hit for a big part of their sales volume.
No doubt. David Welch, Bloomberg News, covers the automotive industry. Great stuff as always, David. News, weather, and traffic in 3 minutes when we come back live to Mexico City. Mexican tariff news next on The Mark Arum Show.
WSB Atlanta. WSBB FM and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard joining MediShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network, so yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
I'm going to let you in on a little secret. When garage doors break, they usually don't break all at once. They don't just up and die. They die slowly. Garage doors complain a bit before they crap out, squeaking and sticking and shaking and grinding. They go down part way and then stop and go back up for no reason. But they hardly ever just end up dead with no symptoms and no long goodbye. If you ignored the signs, that dead door is on you. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Our 19-point seasonal maintenance check makes sure everything's healthy. Oil the chain, check the rollers, realign the tracks, talk to you about how things are going, and look into any symptoms that might have you worried. Catch problems early, and your garage door should be around to play with the grandkids and talk about the old days when all this was just farmland.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
Hey, it's Shelley Winter here for my good friends at PalmettoSleep.com. Let's talk about a serious business, sleep apnea. I suffer from it, and whether you've been diagnosed with it or afraid you have it, I have the solution. Palmetto Sleep is here to give you your life back. They make it easy to get help for sleep apnea because living without a good night's sleep is simply no way to live. Palmetto Sleep offers a custom-fitted oral appliance that opens your airway so you naturally breathe the way nature intended. The best part is they offer virtual consultations and in-home sleep testing. No overnight stays at a sleep center. Plus, Palmetto Sleep has all the doctors that you will need. Most appointments are virtual, and it's all covered by your private medical insurance. Don't suffer from another sleepless night or daytime fatigue like I do. Visit PalmettoSleep.com now. Visit PalmettoSleep.com. That's PalmettoSleep.com.
News, weather,
Traffic. 95.5 WSB. Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 11 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by the Next Generation Xfinity 10G network. We are just hours away now from President Trump's announcement of new tariffs. White House correspondent Mary Bruce reports it's still not clear which countries are being targeted or how high these tariffs may go.
The president sees these new tariffs as a means of economic redemption, a way to punish countries that he feels treat the U.S. unfairly. He has acknowledged Americans could feel some short-term economic pain. The big question, just how long will that pain last? We have seen the markets rattled and consumers also feeling the anxiety. Mary Bruce, ABC News, the White House.
And one Atlanta auto dealer says he's trying to look at the glass half full as President Trump's 25% tariffs on imported vehicles and auto parts smacked the industry this week.
The bread and butter for Ulrich auto owner Joshua Ulrich is putting people in affordable pre-owned cars. He knows if tariffs jack up prices on cars and parts, he may have to pass that along to customers.
I'm dealing with people that, I'm their last hope. They go everywhere else, they get told no, so they come to me, and now they have to deal with these prices, potential prices.
But Ulrich believes tariffs could benefit him by prompting more shoppers to consider used cars.
Because those tariffs are going to immediately stick almost about $12,000 to $15,000 tax on top of the new car.
He hopes the tariffs result in more U.S. jobs. In East Atlanta, Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
Our your weather for today, partly to mostly cloudy and isolated rain shower is possible with highs around 83 this afternoon, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards.
Edwards. We are learning more information this morning about a shooting involving teenagers at an apartment in Conyers. Conyers Police Captain Quantavius Garcia says it happened at the Keswick Village Apartments.
A altercation had occurred between a group of juveniles in the parking lot of the apartments. One of the witnesses was able to provide a description and an area where the suspect ran.
He says that a teenager was shot and taken to the hospital in stable condition. The shooter is believed to be a teen as well, but that suspect escaped following a SWAT standoff. The search is underway this hour. The Sandy Springs City Council votes in favor of ordinances targeting hate crimes in the community. Aton Davidson, Regional Director of the Anti-Defamation League in the Southeast.
Extremists and folks who wish to bring harm to communities have ramped up their activities over the past several years, and that includes activities across the political spectrum.
One measure limits the times when people can pass out flyers or pamphlets, making overnight door-to-door solicitation and canvassing illegal. The ban runs from 9 p.m. until 7 a.m. and was crafted in response to individuals using the cover of darkness, they say, to leave flyers and pamphlets containing hate speech targeting Jews, immigrants, the LGBTQ community, and other minority groups. The city's attorney saying they believe that the wording of these ordinances can withstand challenges over First Amendment concerns. Metro Atlanta set to add another massive manufacturing facility to its landscape.
Flock Safety is known for innovative products like license plate readers, but the company plans to make drones for first responders at the 97,000 square foot facility in Smyrna. It'll also refurbish damaged devices and assemble solar panels. It's expected to add just over 200 jobs to the area. Potential employees can apply now online. While Governor Kemp says the project shows Georgia's ability to foster innovative companies, Smyrna Mayor Derek Norton touts his city's convenient location and diverse talent pool as a big draw for business. Judd Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
The Supreme Court is ruling in favor of the FDA related to its refusal to approve flavored e-cigarettes. The High Court tossing an appeals court ruling that said the agency unlawfully changed the rules during the middle of court proceedings when it was deciding to approve certain products or not. Despite the FDA's denying of many vape-related products, flavored e-cigarettes remained available across the country. The issue is now set to be decided by a lower court. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is up 79 at 42,069. NASDAQ is also in the green, so is the S&P. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. We say good morning to Alex Williams.
Hey, good morning, Sabrina. Big jam on the west side interloop, 285 northbound. You're stacked up from South Cobb Drive up to I-75 near Truist Park. That's all due to tractor-trailer trouble, looks like, in the right lane of that 285 north ramp to 75 northbound. Elsewhere in DeKalb, left lane construction in both directions. 285 north and southbound right around Covington Highway. Northbound delays start around Flat Shoals. Southbound you slow right around East Ponce in the Clarkson area. And left lane construction, 400 southbound, ramping to 85 south, slow on the ride out of Buckhead into Midtown. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly to mostly cloudy today with an isolated rain shower possible, a high 83, lows tonight in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds, high 86. Feeling like summertime on Friday with highs in the upper 80s to low 90s.
It is 68 degrees right now in Chamblee, 63 in Commerce. Covington, you have 66 degrees. More news at 11:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
No, I want this town to be near you.
11:05 on this extremely busy Newsday Wednesday. Welcome back, friends. Mark Airman, crew with you till noon. 30 minutes from now, Deborah's got some tickets to give away to see Blackberry Smoke. Kim Commando's going to join us live talking about new tax scams that we need to be worried about because we are in the midst of tax season. The big story today, though, Liberation Day, President Trump announcing a new wave of tariffs, we think, at the Rose Garden at 4 p.m. This as automotive tariffs go into effect today. Automotive parts tariffs set for next month. We're hearing from Texas Republican Congressman Pete Sessions.
We had 10 companies that are centered in Central Texas, Waco, Texas, and all of them have issues with tariffs, from steel to moving things back and forth from Canada into the United States, back and forth into Mexico. There is trepidation.
So that's the story here in the United States. Yesterday, we heard from the Mexican president about the tariffs. Joining us live from Mexico City, CBS News correspondent Adrienne Bard. Adrienne, good morning. Thanks for your time.
Hey, Mark. Mark. Buenos dias, as we say here.
Buenos dias to you, mi amiga. All right, so that's the limit of my Spanish, by the way.
Okay.
So, yeah, obviously Liberation Day here, but we heard from the Mexican President Sheinbaum yesterday. What does she have to say about the tariffs enacting now and in the future?
Okay, well, she has got her motto is cool head. She's keeping a cool head. She's not saying what they're going to do because she's kind of holding out hope that with all these ongoing dialogue and talks in Washington, D.C., Mexico may get a better deal than other countries. And, hoping that they will, at least on some products. And she's going to respond tomorrow after we know what President Trump says today.
Interesting. So as of right now, what's the current tariff situation? Tariffs that Mexico levies on American goods, or there are none currently?
Most of the products that are traded between the U.S. and Mexico fall under the USMCA agreement, which is NAFTA 2, the follow-up of NAFTA. And I need to remind listeners that President Trump is the one who signed that USMCA deal in his last term. And so almost everything falls under that. There are a couple things that don't. And Mexico does export 80% of its export products to the U.S. So, of course, any tariffs would be disastrous for Mexico's economy. Well, that's what some experts say. President Sheinbaum says if that happens, we have what we're going to call Plan Mexico, and that means they're going to strengthen the production in Mexico, internal production, and it kind of frees them up maybe to be in a better position with China and do more exporting to Europe. But we really have to wait and see.
Adrienne Bard joining us live from Mexico City on the Mark Arum Show. We've been hyper-focused on the automotive tariffs, but I would imagine produce tariffs also a big story south of the border. Do we know anything about possible tariffs on foods and produce between the two countries?
Well, most of the produce goes your way, north.
Yes.
So, yeah. Right. But, I mean, again, the ex-U.S. exports in those areas to Mexico, mostly it's meat and meat products. And I do understand there's concern about pork farmers in the United States because, when you go to the grocery store here in Mexico, like a lot of the pork products are imported here. So in terms of what Mexico, could put extra tariffs on, I mean, they could do things like, I just think it's going to really, and again, I'm not an economist, so people are worried about paying more for avocados, for many, many things, tomatoes. Much of your produce up there does come from Mexico, and if these tariffs go into effect, it will cost more for U.S. consumers, no doubt.
Yeah, well, I mean, my wife is very concerned about the avocado tariffs that might go into effect because they're already very expensive. I did not know, though, that Mexico imports most of their pork from the United States. Is there a fallback option for Mexicans to get, pork from other sources if these tariffs go into effect?
Well, what the president of Mexico, President Sheinbaum, is saying is that, Mexico will beef up its pork production. In the past, they had, before NAFTA, because I've been here long enough to tell you, before NAFTA, it was really hard to get anything imported from the U.S. here. I, as an American, my husband was Mexican, but, I would, really suffer at Thanksgiving because I wanted my kids to have
turkey.
A big turkey.
Yeah,
and we didn't have that. And now you do. I can't remember now. Pilgrim's tried a couple other brands now. You go in the grocery store Thanksgiving and especially Christmas here in Mexico, and you can get all these U.S. turkeys and poultry products too. You do get a lot of that. So what the president of Mexico is saying is if this happens, if it's a worst case scenario today for Mexico, they will have to increase their production locally of pork, of some poultry. Now, having said that, let's just wait and see because some sources I have are saying it's not going to be as bad, or maybe at the 25% or unilateral on Mexico because maybe President Trump doesn't like the stock market and his numbers in the polls. I can tell you here this president has nearly 85% approval rating. Highest in the world, probably, except for a dictator. And
That's
a lot
pretty
of it
remarkable.
Yeah, it is. And a lot of it has to do, her popularity has gone up because she's seen as defending Mexico in a nice way, in a calm way, against these proposed tariffs. She's already gotten President Trump to put 2 pauses. And so I think we're going to maybe, we really have to wait and see. It may not be unilateral. And by the way, the experts I've interviewed, lawyers and economists, say this is all illegal under the USMCA trade agreement.
Yeah,
you cannot slap. Yeah.
Which President Trump enacted. So President Sheinbaum will be waiting and watching and seeing. Adrian Bard will be waiting and watching and seeing what President Trump has to say at 4 p.m. Liberation Day at the Rose Garden. Adrian, it's so great to have you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
There you go. I didn't know that that the biggest importer of pork, that Mexicans imported pork from the United States. Interesting. I hope she didn't steal your fact of the day, Longoria.
No, second day in a row.
Second day in a row. Great stuff from Adrian Bard there in Mexico City. I just getting reporting on the head of whatever the Ontario Prime Minister, whatever his, he's been an outbound critic of President Trump and the newly elected Prime Minister of Canada. They are calling Liberation Day Termination Day. I'm going to try to pull that audio. But first, let's recap the big special elections that went down yesterday. We were in-depth previewing them. 2 elections in Florida, 1 in Mexico. Joining us with an update, correspondent Rory O'Neill. Rory, good morning. What happened in those special elections yesterday?
Well, let's start in Florida. There were 2 empty House seats for 2 Republicans who quit their jobs in order to join the Trump administration. One of them, Matt Gaetz from the Florida Panhandle, didn't quite make it to become the next U.S. Attorney General. So the race for his seat was won by a man named Jimmy Patronis, the former chief financial officer of Florida. So he sort of cruised to victory there, but that margin of victory was a little bit more narrow. But the one people were really watching was in District 6. That's from St. Augustine to Daytona Beach, and it runs a bit inland from there as well. That was the seat given up by Mike Waltz to become the NSA. Now, Randy Fine, a Republican state senator, won that seat, but the margin of error was pretty narrow, just more than a dozen points or so. Waltz won that same seat by more than 30 points just back in November. President Trump carried that same district by more than 30 points. So Democrats, I think they were hoping they'd get within single digits, but so it was still a bit of a blowout, but not really the giant victory that the Republicans depended on.
Yeah, I mean, 12 points is still a big victory, but it pales in comparison to what Trump won that district in the presidential election and Waltz won. So, I mean, both sides could see some positive signs from those results, I guess.
Right. And now we're getting into the nerd aspect of this. Like, how much do you really want to read into it? Because it's an off election. How many people go for one race on a ballot? Not that many. So it really is just diehards. They were very expensive elections, bombarding our TVs with the ads constantly, but not sure there was giant turnout for this. In both the races, Districts 1 and 6, about 200,000 people showed up for each race. So it wasn't a huge turnout. So I don't want to read too much into it because it is this off election.
Yeah, bottom line is, though, Speaker Mike Johnson, President Trump get to hold those 2 Republican seats in Florida to keep their slim majority in the House. Wisconsin Supreme Court vote election. Why was that important, and who was the victor?
Yeah, that was a $100 million race for the Wisconsin State Supreme Court. I mean, pretty amazing that it came down to that. But the liberal justice, now this is nonpartisan, so you do liberal and conservative, and the liberal won the race despite some big outside money coming in. I think Elon Musk spent $26 million on the race, including that giveaway that we saw this weekend of 2 $1 million checks. He went to Green Bay, Wisconsin, wore a cheese hat, saying that this was the election to decide the fate of humanity. I mean, that's how much pressure Musk was putting on voters to turn out. And here we have the liberal candidate, Susan Crawford. She won by 10 points, which, to your point, I mean, that's not a blowout, but boy, that's a strong victory. Some are now wondering if Musk actually did more to hurt the race because the liberals really made this a race about Elon Musk. And with Musk's popularity falling, with his association with Doge, maybe it was a smart political play here.
Why the national attention on this Supreme Court vote, though? I don't understand the national implications, why this was so important to both sides of the aisle.
Well, because one of the big issues that this court will decide is how are the congressional maps drawn in Wisconsin. So now the court will stay liberal. The concern is that there will be more districts drawn to favor Democratic candidates, 2 or 3 perhaps, which is just about the margin that Republicans have in control in the U.S. House of Representatives. So the conservatives fear that by having liberal justices in charge, they'll draw maps that will help Democratic candidates, which could then lead them to lose control of the House. That's one of the big issues. And also interesting to note, the voters in Wisconsin also approved a requirement that you show up with an approved ID in order to cast your votes. So you saw about 200,000 of those Wisconsin voters vote for voter ID and for the liberal candidate for the court.
Rory, great recap on yesterday's important elections. As always, buddy, we appreciate your time.
Hey, thanks, Mark.
We're getting more reaction to Liberation Day. President Trump set to announce new tariffs at the Rose Garden at 4 p.m. We'll cover that announcement live here on WSB. Hearing now from our friends to the north in Canada, their reaction when we come back. But some better news heading to the Truist Park area. Checking the ride around town, it's Alex Williams.
Yeah, good morning, Mark. We had earlier a stall. It was on the 285 northbound interloop ramp to I-75 northbound right there next to Truist Park and the Battery. They have gotten that to the right shoulder, so that big jam from South Cobb Drive should start to improve. Still slow on 285 into Cab County. Left lane construction in both directions right around Covington Highway, exit 43. And we've had construction out into Lawrenceville on 316 eastbound Sugarloaf Parkway. That is still blocking the right lane, slowing the brake, causing the brake lights, leaving I-85. Traffic brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Learn more about their support of Common Threads and nutrition education at anthem.com/dream. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is the trade name of Blue Cross Blue Shield Healthcare Plan of Georgia, Inc. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Get the WSB radio app.
This story is breaking right now.
Get notifications from your source for news.
If you have the WSB radio app, then you saw the breaking news.
Get the WSB radio app.
Don't miss a thing with the WSB app.
Download it from the App Store today.
Looking for a great dining memory, y'all? Hey, it's Belinda. I love the amazing Southern food and service at Old Vinings Inn. If you haven't been there yet, you're missing out. Nestled in the heart of Vinings, that charming house offers a cozy, upscale, and welcoming atmosphere, perfect for any occasion. Romantic dinner, baby or bridal shower, business dinner, night out with friends. Old Vinings Inn has you covered. Indulge in delectable Southern cuisine, crafted with the freshest ingredients. Savor their signature fried green tomatoes and fried chicken, or delight in the rich flavors of my favorite, shrimp and grits. Everything on the menu is a winner. You thirsty? The curated wine list and handcrafted cocktails are sure to impress. Enjoy all that plus live entertainment and specials at the Attic Bar. Wednesday through Saturday nights. Ready for fun and flavor now, y'all? Open for lunch and brunch Thursday through Sunday and dinner Wednesday through Saturday. Reserve your table or large groups today at Old Vinings Inn.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place, you know, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in, we'll work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent, fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Atlanta DIY landlords, listen up. If you're exhausted from managing your rental properties all by yourself, my friends at Renters Warehouse Atlanta offering a 90-day test drive. Hire Renters Warehouse to manage your rental property for a low flat monthly fee as low as $115. If you're not satisfied at any time in the first 3 months, you can fire them. Get your management fees back. What do you get for that low flat monthly fee? A dedicated property management team, maintenance coordination, move in and move out property condition reports, advanced tenant screening with a 9-month tenant warranty, professional photography and videography, lease renewal processing and negotiations, online rent collection, monthly owner cash flow statements, and more. Renters Warehouse, so confident you'll love their service, they want an addition for your business. Choice is yours. Keep DIYing or see how Renters Warehouse can make your life easier. Start your 90-day test drive today. Go to rwatlanta.com or call 404-662-2322, 404-662-2322.
This is Scott Slade. Let's talk about how to improve your chances of living a longer, healthier life. For me, it's preventive medicine. My doctor saw one funky number in my lab work that eventually led to a diagnosis early enough so I still had options. You just got to have a medical professional looking at you every so often, especially when we're talking about heart disease, the nation's #1 killer. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. They've got the best CT imaging in the Southeast with 98% accuracy and low radiation, like flying in an airplane. They can detect calcium levels in your arteries and most cancers at the earliest stage. And virtual imaging can scan your brain to see if you're in danger of a tumor, stroke, or even dementia. So don't put this off, especially with this offer from virtual imaging. For a limited time, they're offering you and your spouse a free heart scan. Yes, free with a few minimum requirements. I've done it. Call 404-678-SCAN. That's 404-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
People are strange when you're a stranger.
Why, Johnny Ringo, you look like somebody just walked over your grave.
Oh, my God. Val Kilmer, so good in Tombstone. Welcome back to the Mark Arum Show. Val passed away. Mr. Kilmer passed away at the age of 65. The big news today, Liberation Day, Rose Garden announcement at 4 p.m. from President Trump. Getting some possible reaction from our trading partners. Let's go up to Paula Newton in Ontario for CNN. Paula, how is Canada preparing for this major announcement today at 4 p.m.
And this is one of the top 5 cities in Canada that would be affected by those tariffs. And right now, the Canadian government, Canada is in the middle of an election right here. Prime Minister Mark Carney having a cabinet meeting later today to really discuss what retaliation is going to look like. Of course, they can't do that until they actually know what kind of tariffs the Trump administration is going to be imposing. And I can tell you, Pamela, from the highest levels of both government and industry in Canada right now, those I've spoken to say they simply have no idea exactly what this is going to look like in the end. And it's kind of like being in the middle of the earthquake and trying to determine damage when the shaking just won't stop. I want you to listen now to Doug Ford, the Ontario Premier, the Premier of this province. It will be the province most hurt by these tariffs. I want you to listen to what he said on CNN earlier.
These tariffs is nothing but a tax on Americans, and President Trump calls it Liberation Day. I call it Termination Day because a lot of people are going to be terminated from their jobs. We buy more goods off the U.S. than any country in the world, more than Japan, the U.K., and France combined. And if you go after Canada, we have no choice but retaliate. And I apologize to the American people. We shouldn't be doing this.
You know, that kind of talk to the Trump administration has really yielded very few results so far. At this point in time, Canada itself is ready for the repercussions, and in order to adapt, the government here says that they will begin to pivot away from the United States, not just in the economy, but in security and military affairs as well.
CNN's Paula Newton in Ontario, Canada, moments ago. The world waits for Liberation Day. 4 p.m. at the Rose Garden, White House. Coverage here on WSB Radio. News, weather, and traffic when we come back. Kim Commando joins us live. Tax season's here, and now it's tax scam season. Kim's going to warn us about some new tax scams. That's next on The Mark Arum Show.
Like a dog without a bone, an actor out alone, riders on the storm. There's a killer on the road.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Right now, 80% lean Kroger brand ground beef is on sale. 3-pound packages are $4.99 a pound with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Hey everyone, it's your buddy Shelly Winter here. Join me this Saturday at noon for the Car Guys with Kevin Deutsch from Butler Lexus of South Atlanta. Buy or lease, fix or sell, everything you want to know about cars, we will cover Saturday noon to 1 right here on 95.5 WSB.
Attention men, are you suffering from ED or PE? Here's an important message from Choice Men's Health.
I'm Dr. Katz, and I'm the Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Are you performing the way you want to in the bedroom? If the answer is no, and you've tried Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra and were disappointed, then you need to come see us immediately. If you don't see results on the first visit, then there's no charge. Many of our patients have medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and prostate problems. I'm happy to say that we have 98% success rate with all our patients. Our customized solutions will allow you to perform within 10 minutes and last an hour and even longer. You can regain your love life and tackle your ED and PE problems. Guys, your partner will never complain again. Our clinic has the most affordable prices, so if you visit other clinics and you're not completely satisfied, then you need to call Choice Men's Health.
Regain your love life regardless of your age or medical history. Choice Men's Health guarantees results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call now, 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
Quick rundown of some famous domes. We had the Georgia Dome, the Astrodome. We have the Gold Dome. We have the Taj Mahal, the Dome of the Rock, all these famous domes. If your dome is famous, then fine. But if your dome is not famous and hairless, you might want to check out my friends at Advanced Hair. Hey, it's Mark Arum. Check this out. Great new deal for my friends at Advanced Hair. Schedule a free consultation first by calling 470-660-HAIR. That's 470-660-HAIR. And once you get that consultation scheduled, check out this amazing offer. 250 free hair grafts and $250 off. What makes Advanced Hair so special? Top-notch facility, top-notch personnel, and amazing guaranteed results. Your own hair guaranteed to grow the very next day, and it's guaranteed from Advanced Hair. Book now at advancedhair.com. That's advancedhair.com, or call 470-660-HAIR.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather, traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 11:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Rocco's European Garage. It's dubbed Liberation Day, and it could be a very pivotal day for the U.S. economy as President Trump is set to announce major new tariffs on products coming in from other countries, including main trading partners with the U.S. Money Watch correspondent Kelly O'Grady looking at how businesses are reacting.
It's creating paralysis for many companies that are trying to plan their next move. Now, in addition to increased costs, companies could face supply chain disruptions and retaliation from other countries.
As she said, many economists are worried about the lack of details so far about these tariffs. The White House insisting that the president is open to phone calls from foreign leaders to work out trade deals. Today's announcement expected about 4 o'clock this afternoon, so check back. We'll let you know what the president says. All right, your weather for today. Partly to mostly cloudy and isolated rain showers not out of the question, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Afternoon high around 83. In Conyers, police searching this morning for a suspect in a shooting at the Keswick Village Apartments. A teenager shot and is in stable condition. Captain Quantavius Garcia with Conyers Police telling us what happened.
An altercation had occurred between a group of juveniles in the parking lot of the apartments. One of the witnesses was able to provide a description and an area where the suspect ran.
And that shooter is still on the run this hour. He's described as a black man wearing a black hoodie, black jeans, slides, and a ski mask. Anybody with information being asked to call police. New York City Mayor Eric Adams having his federal corruption case dismissed, a federal judge issuing the decision to toss the case out this morning. The charges were dismissed with prejudice, meaning that they cannot be brought up against Adams again. The Justice Department had ordered the prosecutors to drop the case. Actor Val Kilmer has died at the age of 65. He was a top leading man in a variety of films in the 1980s and 90s, best known for playing Iceman, the Navy pilot opposite Tom Cruise's Maverick and Top Gun. Kilmer is also known for portraying Batman in Batman Forever.
Bruce Wayne could have given his life for your family. He would have.
Kilmer's family says he died from pneumonia. He lost much of his voice after battling throat cancer. A new study from Stanford University School of Medicine finds that older adults who received the shingles vaccine were 20% less likely to develop dementia in the following 7 years. The study's lead author says viruses that target the nervous system may be implicated in the development of dementia.
Vaccines have broader effects on the immune system that may have benefits for dementia development.
And so he now wants to run a randomized clinical trial to convince the public health and medical community of the findings of his study. Chick-fil-A gets some high marks for its drive-thru experience. Marketing company InTouch ranking the Atlanta-based chain as the most accurate drive-thru among all U.S. fast food restaurants. It says Chick-fil-A get your order right about 92% of the time. On the flip side, KFC ranks at the least accurate on this list. 2 out of every 10 orders were wrong at KFC. It says Taco Bell, Wendy's, and Dunkin' also have plenty of room for improvement. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now currently up 163 at 42,153. NASDAQ also up almost 0.5%, and the S&P's not far behind. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather brought to you by Findlay Roofing. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
We are in recovery mode on the west side Interloop 285 and northbound as you leave Hollowell Parkway, South Cobb Drive area, trying to get up to I-75 in Truist Park. They cleared that earlier trouble spot on the ramp to 75 northbound, so those delays will continue to get better. Elsewhere, slow out of Buckhead, heading toward Midtown with the left lane construction. 400 southbound, the ramp to I-85 southbound. And in Gwinnett County, we're seeing right lane construction, 316 eastbound at Sugarloaf Parkway, also blocking a big chunk of that exit ramp. So that's why you're seeing the brake lights as you leave I-85 for the commute out toward Lawrenceville. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly to mostly cloudy today with an isolated pop-up shower possible, high 83. Lows tonight in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, high 86. Heating up on Friday to the upper 80s to low 90s.
66 degrees in Sugar Hill. Alpharetta has 69 degrees. More news at noon. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
When traffic
No
hits,
traffic getting through in either direction.
the Triple Team Traffic Center has you covered.
Even the bridge over 75 is being held.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
Traffic out of Spaghetti Junction along 285 westbound and a crash on Peachtree Boulevard 141 southbound before 285.
Brought to you by the Cool Ray Lifetime Parts and Labor Warranty.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Still to come, Deborah Green's got some Blackberry Smoke tickets to give away to you, and Kim Commando warns about new text scams in this tax season. That's next on the Mark Arum Show.
April showers bring May flowers, but they may also lead to water inside your home. Dave Baker here for Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. Extra rain could mean extra trouble for your roof. If spring has sprung inside your home, there will be signs. Look for wet spots, water streaks, or dripping water on the ceiling, drywall, chimney area, or in the attic. If that wet spot is now a dry stain, it's still a problem. So when it comes to your roof, think of Findlay first. The perfect match for any roofing issue. They've replaced over 65,000 roofs locally with high-quality roofing experience and expertise. Only Findlay offers a lifetime leak-free warranty at no additional cost. And with Findlay, manners matter. They'll treat your home like it's their own with 5-star exceptional service. Plus, Findlay offers upfront pricing, 0% financing, and a free roof analysis. Get started today at FindlayRoofing.com.
Roof. The biggest and best gun shows are the Eastman Gun Shows, and they're coming this weekend to the Clarence Brown Arena in Cartersville. This weekend, Eastman rolls into town with the best selection of guns, knives, hunting rifles, scopes, clips, shotguns, and accessories you've ever seen in one place. Bring your whole family, rain or shine. We have everything for the lovers of the right to bear arms. It's Saturday from 9 to 5 and Sunday from 10 to 4 at the Clarence Brown Arena in Cartersville. Eastman Gun Shows, proud supporters of the Second Amendment.
Can you remember the last time you turned on the shower and all you got was cold water? Hopefully you don't have a fresh memory of that. Hey, it's Mark Aram. I want you to check out my friends at Reliable Heating and Air. Great new deal on a new water heater. Check it out, guys. Only $29.99 a month and no payments for 3 whole months. No credit check and an unbeatable lifetime warranty. Or you want to go tankless? It's only $59.99 a month and you can enjoy endless hot water. Think about those long, hot showers in the cold, cold winter. Their new water heater installations come with their 100% satisfaction guarantee, same-day water heater installation guaranteed, or they pay you $300. And with their Comfort as a Service program, you get lifetime repair and maintenance, no additional charges ever, no money down, and just easy monthly payments. So new water heater, $29.99 a month, or tankless, $59.99 a month. Amazing deal. Amazing hot water, amazing service. Go online to reliableair.com.
Find quality produce at Whole Foods Market. Get 4 yellow mangoes for $5 with Prime through April 8th. Have them alone as a tangy snack or dice them into a jalapeno salsa. While supplies last, shop in-store or online. Terms apply.
He packed in the animals 2 by 2.
Ox, a camel, and a kangaroo. 11:37 on this rapidly moving Mark Aram Show Wednesday edition with you till noon. Kim Commando joins us in about 22 seconds. But first, Deborah Green, you have stuff to give away to our dear listeners. What do we have today?
I do have stuff. I have a pair of tickets to see Blackberry Smoke along with Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs and Shannon O'Malley at the Synovus Bank Amphitheater at Chastain Park on August 9th.
Are you allowed to say Dirty Knobs on the air?
Yeah.
You're okay?
Dirty
All right.
Knobs.
All right. Vinny, we're going to take it easy on you, Vin. 7th caller to 404-872-0750. 7th caller to 404-872-0750 wins a pair of tickets to Blackberry Smoke and the Dirty Knobs, courtesy of the Mark Aram Show at 95.5 WSB. Joining us live now, tech guru, longtime friend of the show, and an all-around diva, Kim Commando on the Mark Aram Show. Kim, good morning, friend. How are you?
I don't really think of myself as a diva.
A digital diva. How about that? Digital
Okay.
diva.
All right, that's much better.
Yeah.
I mean, diva means, I don't know why I'm here. I need to have yellow M&Ms and,
The Whitney Houston of the digital world, Kim
Exactly.
Commando.
Yeah.
Kim, tax season, I know because my accountant Sanjay from Brass Tax Accounting, brass.tax online, keeps texting me saying, hey, I need your info. But he's also, dodging tax scams out there. New year of taxes, a new bunch of tax scams to warn folks about.
Well, there's just tons of them. I mean, let's just start with Google. I mean, you would think that a $1 trillion company would be able to figure out how to get the scammers out of the Google search results. So you have to be really careful. And you see a lot of sponsored posts. So if you type in at Google IRS help, you may not necessarily end up at the IRS site. And so you have to be really careful there. But then a lot of people are in a hurry. And whenever you're in a hurry, that's when the scammers are like, okay, now I can go there. So watch out for fake communications. The IRS is not going to email you or text you or drop you a message on your Instagram or Facebook account. I know, it sounds kind of crazy. And they're also not going to ask you to pay by Amazon gift cards or Apple gift cards or Google Play gift cards. And also watch out for the fake tax preparers, fake tax advice, fake charities. And what you really want to do is make sure that you have set up a PIN, and that's over at the IRS site. And so it's really tied to your account. So if somebody's trying to kind of mess with your account over the IRS, they're going to need that PIN.
I have one of those because, unfortunately, my identity was stolen years ago. So the IRS created a PIN number, and the only way they get in touch with me is via snail mail. That's the only way the IRS contacts me is through regular, mail. So that's how you know it's legit. If the IRS is mailing you something, it's probably worth noting.
Yes, they're not going. I actually had a caller not too long ago say, the IRS contacted me through Facebook on my direct message. Do you think that's legit? I'm like, no. It's and I had a guy on my show last week, and I don't know if you heard, lost $900,000 in a crypto scam.
Yeah, that's insane. I thought that's supposed to be secure, right? The crypto is the most secure form of funds.
Well, what happened is that somebody reached out to him on Facebook and said, I'd like to be your friend. And then the friend turned into, I have an uncle who knows a lot about crypto and gold futures, and gave him $10,000, $50, and then $900,000, and they wanted another, $200,000 in order to secure his account.
Oh.
And that was when he finally pretty much woke up. And when I was speaking to him, he really wasn't sure if he still had gotten scammed, but that was his whole retirement.
I feel so bad for folks that get scammed, especially your whole life savings just gone in the blink of an eye. Kim, I got to ask, I don't know if we talked about this last time you were on in relation to that Signal chat scandal. The news story today was that National Security Advisor Mike Waltz coming under fire for using his personal Gmail account to email government stuff. What's the security like on a Gmail account? Should he not have done that? Is it more secure to have a government account?
I don't know if it's more secure to use a government account, but I wouldn't be sending anything confidential through Gmail.
No.
I mean, that's pretty moronic, quite frankly. Is it encrypted? Yeah, but keep in mind that everything's going through Google, and anybody can bounce it along the way. If you're looking for a true encrypted email, that's when you're looking at something like Proton Mail, Hush Mail, Start Mail. I mean, and these are pay services. Nobody should be doing confidential government stuff using Gmail. I was actually shocked by that. I'm like, I don't know what people are thinking.
Yeah, I mean that stunned me because we have so much of our information. I know that certain of my passwords and stuff have been leaked on the dark web and very vulnerable to hackers. So that made me scratch my head. What about Signal? The security of Signal? Are you a Signal user?
I don't use Signal. I have no need to. I'm lucky I can get through all my messages and WhatsApp and things like that. Signal's really geared for true encrypted communication, and it does work. I mean, it is there. But back to the Gmail. Keep in mind that Google keeps track of everything that's in your Google Gmail account. I mean, they are reading your email. Can you imagine the guys targeted ads?
Are you looking to buy F-15s? We've got a deal for you.
Look at what China has for sale. Come on over.
Yeah, I never even thought about that, the targeted ads on that. Finally, Kim, paying people to wait in line for you or waiting in line and people pay you to do it. I hate waiting in line. Tell us about this.
So do I. And now with the DMVs all just kind of backlogged, I thought it would be interesting for us to talk about it, that the lines are around the building. And if you don't want to stand in line, you don't have to. There are apps like TaskRabbit and SpotBlaze. Basically, you go on there and you say, I need a line sitter or to wait in line. You type in the time, the place, and any instructions. You look at people who are willing to do this. The hourly rate is anywhere between $25 and $30 an hour, maybe up to $40 an hour if it's hot or it's cold or it's rainy or whatever it may be. But it's a really good option, not just for the DMV, but if you're ever looking for, say, concert tickets, meet and greets. A lot of people are using it right now for college admissions and standing in line to get classes.
That's phenomenal.
Sneaker drops, limited edition merch, whatever it may be. And so you just go on to, as I said, TaskRabbit or SpotBlaze, and anywhere between $25, $30 an hour. Major cities, it could be a little bit higher, and then there's a service fee, and then they ask for maybe a 15% tip. And if you like standing in line, this is an easy side hustle for you. You just sign up to be a line sitter. That's it.
I wonder if I can get someone to stand in line at NFA Burger for me and get a burger, because that's usually a long line. Definitely worth the wait.
I'm sure you could.
Yeah.
I'm sure you could. Yeah, absolutely.
Kim, what's coming up on the show this weekend, buddy?
Well, we always cover all the latest scams. And we're going to be talking a little bit about how you can make money on social media. With TikTok Shop, and we should have the decision by TikTok being sold by the end of this week, too, by the way.
Yeah.
That, believe it or not, people are making $10,000, $15,000 a month on TikTok. It's kind of nuts because you sign up to be an influencer, and you don't need to have 1 million followers. There's one gal that I spoke to. She's 24 years old, and she's doing makeup, and she's making $12,000 a month, and she has 15,000 followers.
Deborah, how many followers do we have on the Mark Arum Show TikTok, the dormant Mark Arum Show TikTok? Can we monetize? 8?
8.
That's it, really?
Excellent.
No.
Oh, all right.
I have to go look.
All right.
I was, I was going to feel sorry for you. I was just going to go follow you just
Yeah.
to make
Well-
sure that we're going to push you over that number 10.
Once
you
I
know,
get my
so-
login credentials, I'll follow you back. But we gave it an intern set up the account, and he's long gone, so I'd have no idea. But what
It's
is
like,
your
what's the password?
what's your TikTok account, Kim, so we can follow you?
I'm at Kim Commando everywhere, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, Threads, everywhere.
There you
It's
go.
just kind of nuts. But I've been really focused on my Instagram account, and in doing that, I've learned a lot about reels and shorts, and how you kind of can take the reels from Instagram, put them on YouTube. Anyway, so we're going to be talking a little bit about that, because I think
Excellent.
that's really important now as web traffic to people's websites is tanking, that we have to look at alternative ways.
Indeed. All right, all the socials at Kim Commando, the digital diva. Are you on Blue Sky? Are you on there yet?
I'm not sure yet. I don't
All right.
think so. I'm not there yet.
I'm there, but there's no action. So, folks, follow me on it's Mark Arum everywhere. MarkArum. Kim, always a pleasure. I'll listen to you this weekend, my friend.
You betcha. Thanks,
There
Mark.
you go. Kim Commando, the digital diva, the guru, the goddess, the one and only. Hey, congrats to Matt in Sonoya, Georgia. He won a pair of tickets to Blackberry Smoke, courtesy of the Mark Arum Show at 95.5 WSB. Coming up next, we'll update our top local stories. But first, hopefully traffic's not a top local story. What can you tell us, Alex Williams?
Well, thanks to Traffic Trooper Brad. I just found a new crash on the Jam Cam. It's in the second left lane, 7585 northbound University Avenue, exit 244. That's slowing the ride back to Langford Parkway. If you're trying to make your way into downtown out of Buckhead, still got that left lane construction on the 400 southbound ramp to I-85 southbound, and left lane construction both directions on the east side perimeter, 285 north and southbound Covington Highway, exit 243. Traffic brought to you by Whole Foods Market. Explore the tropics at Whole Foods Market with juicy savings on fresh fruits, plus indulge in island-inspired flavors all over the store through April 8th. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
When the weather is at its worst,
We have a tornado warning for Coweta County. This is going to include the city of Noonan.
we're at our best.
Georgia Power says it has about 15,000 outages at this hour. Georgia EMC is reporting another 18,000.
Download the WSB radio app to stay up to date.
Stoplights are blowing in the wind so heavy they're almost horizontal to the pavement.
95.5 WSB, your severe weather station.
It's Diamond Month at D. Geller & Son Jewelers, and that means this month, buying diamonds comes with even more diamonds. All through the month of April, when you spend $9.95 or more, you'll receive a pair of gorgeous hand-matched diamond studs absolutely free. Shopping for your wife? Tuck those studs away for your anniversary. Upgrading your ring? Surprise your daughter with her first pair of diamonds. No matter how you spin it, there's no better deal in jewelry than Diamond Month at D. Geller & Son Jewelers. All April long in Kennesaw, Sandy Springs, and online at dgeller.com.
Home improvement projects can be a stressful guessing game. Trust the Plus. Painting Plus, the highest level of communication. The Plus means siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and of course, painting.
Hi, I'm Charlie, owner of Painting Plus and the Plus family of businesses. We'll make you comfortable and keep you informed with every step of your project.
If your home's exterior has it, the Plus can improve it. Painting Plus, siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and more. Trust the Plus. PaintingPlus.com.
Coming up from the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra, a Delta classical concert featuring the virtuosic power of your orchestra, performing Borodin's Muscular Second Symphony. The program kicks up the proverbial heels in Hachatourian's boisterous saber dance, followed by a sumptuous, fragrant adagio from Spartacus. Then the orchestra concludes with Borodin's Muscular and Virtuosic Second Symphony, April 24th and 26th at Symphony Hall. Details at aso.org.
This is Rocco with another reason why you should always bring your European vehicle to Rocco's European Garage. No tax charged on any service at any one of our 6 locations through the month of April. That's zero tax on your bill. You'll receive the usual top-notch customer service, including upfront pricing, customer approval prior to beginning work, complimentary shuttle service, and a 3-day appointment window to get you back on the road quicker. And remember, guys, no tax this month on any service or repair at Rocco's European Garage.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Quick rundown of some famous domes. We had the Georgia Dome, the Astrodome. We have the Gold Dome. We have the Taj Mahal, the Dome of the Rock. All these famous domes. If your dome is famous, then fine. But if your dome is not famous and hairless, you might want to check out my friends at Advanced Hair. Hey, it's Mark Arum. Check this out. Great new deal for my friends at Advanced Hair. Schedule a free consultation first by calling 470-660-HAIR. That's 470-660-HAIR. And once you get that consultation scheduled, check out this amazing offer. 250 free hair grafts and $250 off. What makes Advanced Hair so special? Top-notch facility, top-notch personnel, and amazing guaranteed results. Your own hair guaranteed to grow the very next day, and it's guaranteed from Advanced Hair. Book now at advancedhair.com. That's advancedhair.com, or call 470-660-HAIR.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into. And that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard joining MediShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge. But it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network, so yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
Your children play. If you give this man a ride, sweet.
No. I'm sure of it. I hate him.
Doc Holliday, Tombstone, rest in peace, Val Kilmer. An amazing actor, gone at the age of 65. Welcome back to the Mark Arum Show. I do have a local story I want to tell you about in a second, but I do want to play a quick Val Kilmer obituary to honor the legend that passed away.
Kilmer grew up just outside of Tinseltown in LA's San Fernando Valley. At just 17 years old, he was accepted to New York's Juilliard School. While there, he co-wrote and starred in his own play and made his Broadway debut in 1983. He made his Hollywood feature debut in the 1984 Cold War spy spoof Top Secret. What followed was a string of unpredictable roles in big-budget films.
Unbelievable career. Again, if you've never seen it, or you haven't seen it in 30 years, my favorite Val Kilmer movie of all time, Real Genius, 1985, Top Gun, The Doors, of course, in 1991, True Romance in 93, Tombstone in 93. What a year for him. 95, he did Batman Forever. Yeah, it was Batman. And then Heat, 96, The Island of Dr. Moreau, The Saint in 1997. The Salton Sea was underrated. That was 2002. Gonna miss him. Gonna miss Val Kilmer, dead at the age of 65. All right, I love this local story, Deborah. Tell me about it.
A thing that makes cities unique from others is its local businesses. You know, nothing against the big chains, but something you can find only in Atlanta, well, that's special. Mayor Dickens, now a friend of the show, has launched a legacy business program. This will support financial relief and promotional support to over 500 businesses operating in the city for at least 30 years, helping them cope with rising operational costs.
Businesses face rising food and supply prices driven by inflation and tariffs, and the Bureau of Labor reported a 9.7% increase in wholesale food costs just this past year. Now, the grant funding can be used for modernizing equipment, improving infrastructure, and other business needs. If you're interested, you can go to investatlanta.com for more.
Do love those legacy businesses. How about a legacy employee? 30 years with one outfit, get honored there. Give me a grant. It'd be 28 years in August for me at WSB Radio. When I hit 30, if I hit 30, knock on wood, give me a legacy grant. A little bit of breaking news just forwarded to me from our boss via Politico. President Trump reportedly tells cabinet members that Elon Musk will step back from current role in coming weeks. I know there might have been some behind-the-scenes friction between the cabinet heads and Elon Musk. Elon, of course, put in the $26 million in that Wisconsin election that the liberal candidate won. So interesting. That's from Politico, something to monitor throughout the day. President Trump reportedly tells cabinet members that Elon Musk will step back from his current role in coming weeks. That is via Politico. Interesting.
Longoria's fact of the day.
All right, today is National Ferret Day, and ferrets are descendants of the European polecat and were domesticated around 2,500 years ago, primarily for hunting rabbits and rodents.
I'm your huckleberry.
I didn't really care for your fact of the day, so
obviously
I'm just playing more Val Kilmer cuts from.
Well, then why did I do it? I wouldn't have done it. You didn't care.
Long ago. A man like Ringo got a great empty hole right to the middle of him.
All right, I got to go watch Tombstone now, too. I'm just kidding, Longoria. Good fact of the day. Happy Ferret Day to all the ferret owners out there. Is that a marmot? Is that a marmot?
And now, are you guys ready for the Mark Arum?
It doesn't matter that the fact of the day was Mets of Mets because you crushed it today playing all doors music. So, start of the show for Longoria. Deborah, phenomenal as always. And two big stars on the show tomorrow that Deborah booked. I think Deborah's going to win it again tomorrow. Tomorrow on the show, we have Eric Andre and English actor. She plays a Brit on 1923. Julia Schlaffer is going to join us live. I'm going to get a star of the show. Pity one for Vin. Vinny Bag of Donuts gets a pity one. Peter Harlambus, David Welch, Adrian Bard in Mexico City, Kim Commando, and Rory O'Neill. All our stars of the show. Social media is at Mark Arum. Have a great Wednesday.